Services provides programs to help you find peace of mind. We are here to help you apply for benefits that you may qualify for to recover from hardships such as lost wages and medical expenses. To learn more, visit ncdps.gov/4victims. That's ncdps.gov/4VICTIMS.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
From the Ingalls studio,
WEK Fairview,
WMXF Waynesville,
W225CJ Candler,
the #1 preset in your car, and the new and improved iHeartRadio app. Free never sounded so good.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website, green. That's green. Enter it now.
Go to espnavl.com to play, and good luck.
Live from the Ingalls studio,
I can't wait to play with myself every day.
the Sportsocracy.
Damn the devil to hell! Let the best on see! Let him on the field!
Come get you some of this.
Fire them cannons! By golly, put more powder in those things.
He couldn't take any more disappointment.
Oh my God, the Jets killed him.
And welcome into the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400, the most Fridayest of Thursdays that you will ever have, apparently. That's how today feels for me. Not just because it's what it is. Show that we're doing this week. Well, I mean, it is for this program. I mean, I still have to work tomorrow. But see, everybody wants me to get all my crap done today so they can be off tomorrow, but I still have to work. So it feels like a Friday on a Thursday, but I still have to work tomorrow. Everybody else gets to take off. What is happening?
Well, if it makes you feel any better,
I'm an award winner.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, they all wanted me to have my things done yesterday. So today I only have this show. I've already got my travel fit on, bruh. My wife was making fun of me that I always travel in the exact same outfit. Always. It's always the same thing.
Right,
it's always all black.
That's right. You guys.
Go ahead.
Right, you guys are going down to South Carolina, right? Do some golfing.
Yeah, going down to play a little golf, sit by the pool, hang out with the godchildrens. But she makes fun of me because I always travel in the exact same thing. It's always the Jets, dry fit neoprene thing, black hat, the old Hey Dudes, and my Puma joggers, all black, head to toe. Let's go. No drawers.
Now,
Let's go.
When y'all travel, are you the driver or she the driver, or do you switch back and forth, or?
No, I almost always drive.
Okay.
I don't ride well. I mean, look, I can ride with you because, well, you're the only person that can drive the truck, A, other than me. B, I can sleep through most of it as long as there's not a searing horn outside of Indianapolis that makes me see dead relatives and Jesus.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't ride with other people.
Okay. All right. I was just curious if you drove or if she had to stare at your belly while you slept in the passenger seat.
No.
Like I have done so many times over the last year.
No.
On the Ingalls Living the Dream tour, you get an eyeful sometimes in the driver's seat.
A good travel fit is it's necessary.
You got to be comfortable. Exactly. You got to be comfortable when you're traveling. If you are one of the many millions of people that will be traveling for the holiday weekend, be very, very safe. Hope it all goes well for you. Hope you get a couple of days off as well. Wanted to say a congratulations to our winners of the Braves-Padres tickets given away on the ESPN Asheville Facebook page. David Beckerman is going to be going to the game this weekend, as well as Tim Bailey. They were our winners in the Braves Mount Rushmore contest on the ESPN Facebook page. Go and follow the ESPN Facebook page. We'll continue to be giving you chances to win. I was just talking to somebody down the hall. We've got another promotion that we're going to be pushing out on the social medias as well. trying to build up the ESPN Asheville Facebook following. We already have more followers on this page than we did on the old one, so we're doing well.
Well, that's because you gave me access to it, which allows me to invite all of my heathen friends.
That's right. Next week, we will have Braves Red Sox tickets to be given away on the Facebook page as well, so stay tuned through that, and, of course, with the Sportsocracy and ESPN Asheville carrying Braves baseball all season long. Hopefully they will play baseball today. Yesterday got rained out. It's the one sad part about baseball is that sometimes you prepare for a game and then it doesn't happen. But such is life. Jeremy, sad news yesterday in the NFL world after we got off the air yesterday evening. I think it was about 6 o'clock when I saw it on my phone that Jim Irsay passed away. The eccentric owner of the Indianapolis Colts, as he is being called in the media. It is one of those, he was a great guy. There were some moments. But what an influential figure in the NFL. Especially over the last few years, as he had built up the respect within the league as a Super Bowl winning owner, Peyton Manning, Tony Dungy, Bill Polian, that whole mini dynasty that they tried to put together, and only because the New England Patriots were there did it not become a dynasty. But he was the one that spoke out first against Daniel Snyder, remember? A few years back, he was the one that stood up in the owners' meetings and was like, enough is enough. We're breaking stride.
The thing about Jim Irsay is, he was always an easy one when I was looking to make a joke because he lived hard and fast, we shall say. That is part of his story. The part of his story that doesn't get told is the countless number of people that he was very giving with his money. He really liked giving to people that could not necessarily give to themselves. And if you have an impression of Jim Irsay and you think he's one thing because people like me and people like Tank on the radio have made jokes over the years, Jim Irsay and I lived pretty similarly. He had some predilections, maybe I didn't, but we lived pretty similarly. He had a lot more money. He was very giving with his money. He was very good to people. If you haven't read what Pat McAfee put on Twitter about Jim Irsay, if you can read that and it not at least a little bit change your opinion about him, then you're not receptive to other information.
Right, you got to look inward for your own shortcomings.
He is.
If that doesn't touch you.
Bill Workman put it in the YouTube chat. They love him in Indianapolis.
Of course.
Our buddy Tristan, that owns Generations, the guy that sent us the custom Jordans, he lives about 8 minutes from where Mr. Irsay passed away yesterday because he lives right down the road from where his house was. And he said it was like the end of the world had happened. None of us knew what had happened, but there was so much response to that scene that it felt like the end of the world had come upon us.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that I would implore people, and maybe I'm biased to this because we do work in a medium where people have unfettered 24/7 access to us. They can say anything they want to, and there is absolutely nothing we can do about it except fight with our words. Be careful the things you say about people, especially in their passing. It's okay to not speak sometimes. We all grew up with if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all.
Mm-hmm.
More people should abide by that. I was reading through some of the tributes to Jim Irsay, and there were so many nice things said, but they were just convoluted by this treasure trove of the biggest set of trolls with burnt mouths from their hot pockets that their mom brought them, that are pissed off because the AV connection on their 1997 television doesn't play their Dreamcast the right way. And every single one of them, I swear it took everything in my power to not just troll every one of you.
Right.
If you can't just shut up in that time, you're what's wrong with the world. You didn't have to like the guy. There's a lot of people that didn't.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're going on posts that were made by Pat McAfee that played for him, Adam Vinatieri that played for him, Peyton Manning that played for him, Adam Schefter that covered him for years, Ian Rappaport, on and on and on and on and on and on and on. If you can't just let that go, you're really what's wrong with the world as it sits.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's okay to, in the enlightened words of the great American poet, me, shut the hell up. It's perfectly fine to do.
Yeah. And here's one thing. Especially in a time that's, so sensitive. Preying on someone's worst moments just to be mean or just to get a rise out of people it's pretty evil, if you ask me. I mean, it's okay to for me. I feel like it's okay to bring those things up because this is part of who he is, right? This is part of the Jim Irsay story.
No doubt, you can bring up the things he did
and the things that he struggled with throughout his life that he also turned into philanthropic endeavors. Right, he turned his addictions to alcohol and drugs into helping other people cope with their addictions, and started a whole foundation with the Indianapolis Colts. It's Kick the Habit or something to that effect. Is the name of that organization that they started, all because of his past. Right, he never ran away from his past. He would get in trouble, and then he would just come back and be like, yeah, I messed up.
Yeah, I did that.
I mean, we would crucify him for that because, what are you doing? Driving drunk as a billionaire, you can make jokes about that in the time. But I don't know. I feel like most of this is just because a lot of the things that you're seeing on social media are people snapping back, oh, well, he was just a, addict, or he was just a crazy person, or he was all of those things.
Well, and look,
but he was an amazing human being at his core.
That was much more layered than people think.
Sure,
I live by a very simple philosophy, especially when people pass away. Jim Irsay had 3 daughters. If your comment on one of these tribute posts or one of these nice things that people have said about Jim Irsay, if it's not something that you would walk up to his children and say, keep it to yourself.
Yeah, you probably should.
You're not nobody thinks you're funny. Nobody's sitting on their phone going, look at Jim. Jim's funny. I should be friends with Jim. Jim's cool. No, Jim's a loser. Jim's a loser and will always be a loser. Mm-hmm. I was so angry by the end of last night that I had to just put my phone down and go, I'm not doing it anymore. Mm-hmm. And I was probably harder on him than anybody in media.
Yeah, you gotta try to stay away from stuff like that because they're just stupid people in the world, and too many people have a voice in situations like this. Regardless of what you felt about Jim Irsay and his issues that he faced throughout the years, you can't deny the impact that he had on the Indianapolis community. Supporting all of the local hospitals and such all around Indianapolis, public schools, giant champion for public schools, mental health organizations all around Indianapolis were partially, and I would probably say greatly, funded by Jim Irsay, the Indianapolis Colts, and their ancillary organizations. He also, I did not know this until today, was a giant collector of things. Things that that we could only dream of. Right, you ever do that exercise in your head, like, what if I won the Powerball? What dumb things would I spend my money on?
Jim Irsay probably owned it.
Probably so.
If you had something that you went, this would be the coolest thing I could possibly own, Jim Irsay probably already did. I'll tell you a funny thing about him that I didn't know this until I knew he had an unbelievable guitar collection.
Mm-hmm.
Practically anybody, and a couple of our sponsors are big guitar players. So I already knew Jim Irsay had a guitar collection that is probably second to none on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
He also had a lot of other really cool stuff, too.
He did. The Jim Irsay collection, I didn't know, is a thing in the collector's world. In fact, it's so big that he is worth, estimated, depending on what source you read, anywhere between $4.2 and $4.7 billion. 3.3 of that is the Indianapolis Colts. $1 billion of it is the collection of stuff that he has. In fact, they take the Jim Irsay collection on tours all across the country so you can see the cool stuff that he has accumulated over the years. He has over 400 guitars, I think it said. And yes, they are some of the most beautiful pieces of work you will ever see. If you are a Beatles fan like me, he's got all of the Beatles instruments, which is super cool. He has, if you saw a major act in concert in the 2000s, he probably has one of their guitars in his collection. But he also has weird stuff like Wilson, the volleyball from Castaway. I don't know what you would have to spend for something like that, but that is probably one of the most off-the-wall things I could think of.
He also has
for you to spend money on.
He also has the declaration from the federal government of the first Thanksgiving. It's like the official decree that we were having the first official Thanksgiving in 1777.
Right.
He's got Harry Truman's hat. He's got Tommy Hearn's boxing gloves. He's got the shoes from Rocky that Sylvester Stallone wore.
He has a whole Abraham Lincoln collection where he has a pocket knife that was owned by Abraham Lincoln. Actually was presented to Abraham Lincoln at the Great Central Fair in 1864. He's got the little collector's box that it came in. He has 2 ticket stubs from the night of the assassination at Ford's Theater. The little corners ripped off by whoever attended this. He has a cane that was owned by Abraham Lincoln, several letters as well that are in Lincoln's handwriting. And just the fact that Jim Irsay had to pass away for me to realize he was one of secretly the coolest guys on the planet. Because this is exactly what I would do if I had money. If I had all the money in the world, I would be so philanthropic. Like, there wouldn't be a charity close to me that would not feel the love. Right? I would give so much money to Manna Food Bank and ABCCM and all of the local organizations that help, build our community and build me as a person. But then I would go out and buy just all the coolest stuff I could find. Elton John's piano from 1972? Yes, I will take that. Thank you very much.
He also has a pair of his glasses. He has Al Pacino's script from Scarface with his notes in it.
Yep, the annotated script.
It's out of this world, all of the different things that he had accumulated over time. But I don't know if you did the same thing I did. If you look at NFL owners, Jim Irsay was one of the guys that was the least cash flush. And as you went down the rabbit hole, it was pretty easy to figure out why that was. he had this traveling road show of all the coolest things, and they were his. And he liked collecting things like that. But then if you look at the other income that he made off a multi-billion-dollar operation, he gave a ton of it away. Mm-hmm. The line that I can't stop reciting in my head was from McAfee's his soliloquy about Irsay. And there was a line in it of every time they talked. You know, Irsay was the guy he talked to when he retired. Irsay tried to get him not to retire. He said, if this media thing doesn't work out, you've always got a job with the Colts. And they talked on and on and on over the years. He would always do the show anytime Pat asked. And then there was a line that, and it's resonated with me. He said, every time I talked to him, he always asked if I needed anything, even if it was just to get a something special for that incredibly pretty lady of yours. I can't stop with that in my head. This is a guy that's talking to Pat McAfee at this point is probably worth $1 billion. His enterprise is probably worth $1 billion at this point. And he's asking that guy if he needs anything to make sure his wife is taken care of. That's the kind of guy you're talking smack about on social media. And I just want you to think about that before you the next time.
Right. Jim Irsay passes away at the age of 65. His daughter, Carly? Is that her name? Carly. Yep. Irsay Gordon is said to be the one that's going to be taking over. She was the CEO anyway. Right. She's like second in command. She's the one that filled in when he got suspended by the league for the DUI. She'll be taking over operations. Had been running day-to-day operations for a while. Was reading earlier today that he remember there was a report was it like December, I think it was, where he was in the hospital for a while, and reports were that he was real sick, and he hadn't really been seen out since then. He hasn't been at any of the functions. He didn't go to the winter meetings. He didn't go to these past meetings this week. Reportedly was not at the draft this year. So anyhow, it's a sad day for Indianapolis Colts fans, the city of Indianapolis in and of itself. Jim Irsay passing away at the age of 65. We'll move on to brighter news, hopefully. Coming up in the next segment of the program here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400.
ESPN Asheville, broadcasting from the Ingles studio at Radio Ranch. Log on to espnavl.com and make us your number one preset on the iHeartRadio app. ESPN Asheville, number one for sports coverage in the mountains.
I lived on a commercial salmon fishing boat in Alaska, and I genuinely think that was the first time I've ever felt myself kind of like slipping mentally. I think Alaska does weird things to people.
If you're interested in hearing anonymous callers like this tell stories from their lives, check out my podcast, Therapy Gecko. You can listen to Therapy Gecko on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Follow Therapy Gecko and start listening on the free iHeartRadio app today.
This is J.W. Whitley, General Manager at Parks Ford of Hendersonville, introducing you to this month's Parks Community Heroes, Corey and Kristen Short and the entire team at Silverados, who converted their music venue in Black Mountain into a donation and distribution zone in the wake of Hurricane Helene. Corey and his team founded Valley Strong Disaster Relief, dedicated to providing essential support to our neighbors in need. Nominate your Parks Community Hero at parkscommunityheroes.com. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
At Ingles Weather, we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park. It's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Bear Smokehouse Barbecue in Asheville has two things that all Sportsocracy fans crave: bold flavors and big portions. Oh, yeah, and they've got the balls. Bear's famous bear balls are packed with mac and cheese, pulled pork, cornbread, and deep fried and then topped with bacon and cheese sauce. this is the place to be. Live music on Saturdays and the first Sunday of every month. They partner with the Guitar Bar to host Mr. Jimmy's Barbecue Blues. Bear Smokehouse Barbecue in downtown Asheville and South Asheville.
Mountain Graphics and Showtime Sports have teamed up under a new local owner to serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at the best price. Mountain Graphics and Showtime Sports can customize whatever you, your team, or your local group may need with high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving. Visit mtngraphicsavl.com or showtimesportsavl.com. That's mtngraphicsavl.com or showtimesportsavl.com for your local one-stop custom apparel shops.
I'm Coley Duffy.
I'm Cody Ward.
And
we're the Chainsaw Brothers.
Actually, we're cousins. A few days after Helene, we was in the driveway having a couple beers, waiting on the power to come back on. And we heard so many people calling, needing trees removed, and couldn't afford it.
So I called my dad to borrow a chainsaw, and over the next few months, we cleared trees for our neighbors. Our business was born out of wanting to help Western North Carolina get back on our feet.
We are fully insured and licensed. We keep our promise.
Woohoo!
And if we say we're going to be there, we'll be there. In these parts,
do you want to do the cool things that you have, the thing here in this little short segment?
What we do, and we do it for a reasonable cost.
For all your chainsaw needs.
Say that again.
So do you want to do the cool things that you have thing in this segment, this little segment
here?
Feed our family.
Are you still covered up with storm damage and debris?
Call us about our daily rates at 828-316-1013.
We got a super chat, too.
That's 828-316-1013. We're the Chainsaw Brothers, and with our neighbors, we're Western North Carolina strong.
Woohoo!
The Sportsocracy.
What are you people? On dope?
We're back in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. Sportsocracy heard everywhere you go on the iHeartRadio app. Man, this board is just flipping out on me. Welcome back into the program here on ESPN Asheville, coming to you live from the Ingalls studio. And Jeremy, I think I found it. I think I found the coolest thing. The coolest thing that Jim Irsay had in his collection. It's a letter from George Washington to Thomas Jefferson on the recommendation of the U.S. Constitution. It's a copy of the Constitution sent to Thomas Jefferson the day after it was adopted by the Constitutional Convention. That hand-signed by the future first president of the United States of America. I don't think it gets much better than that.
I'm rather fond of the John F. Kennedy custom Stetson that was to be given to him at his next event that was cut short after his assassination in Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember where it was. I read the story on it earlier. They were going to gift it at him to him at his next stop, his next speech, and that's, to me, is a piece of American history that it's priceless to me.
Wow. We've got a super chat that we missed earlier in the first segment. Don't forget, you can super chat us as well. You got to find us on the YouTube and subscribe to the channel so you can join the chat. And Red Sea says, homesick from work, but we're still here. And we are so happy that you're making us part of your day. Hope that we can try to make you feel a little bit better. At least bring some light into a terrible, sick world. God, I hate being sick. Awful. What would be the coolest thing that you would have to, like, if there was a Jeremy Green collection, as sad as it may be? Way better than anything I've got. I'm not throwing shade. I'm just saying, compared to the Jim Irsay collection, you don't, we can't light a candle to that.
No. I have some cool stuff
that you have.
What's the coolest thing that I currently have, or what I would want?
What's the coolest thing you currently have?
I have a signed picture from Jimbo Fisher of the Jameis Winston to Kelvin Benjamin catch in the end zone of the national title game against Auburn.
That's cool.
And I have 2 signed practice jerseys from that year from Jameis Winston and Kelvin Benjamin. They're actually sitting in a box right beside me right here.
Mm-hmm.
So the picture sits in the middle of it, and then I've got the 2 practice jerseys on each side of it. That's one of the cooler things I currently have.
Right.
That Deion Sanders helmet that's in the studio is really cool because I've never seen another helmet like that. I know they've never been mass produced.
Yeah,
it's a black on black.
Right, it's a black matte helmet with the big spear on the side.
Probably the coolest thing that I have. The night before Luke Combs went to Nashville to sign his record deal, we had him at a bar that I was, and I saved. He threw out some guitar picks. I have one of those, and I have the receipt from where we paid him.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the night before he went to Nashville.
Wow. Now, see, that would be cool. That would be one of those things that I could see that being a part of, on loan from Jeremy Green for the Luke Combs collection at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame or the Country Music Hall of Fame.
I've got several things from Luke.
That's pretty cool.
Another very giving guy that also saves everything. If you've seen the online museum thing from him in Nashville,
right?
If they ever did a museum to me, it would be the most barren thing ever because I don't save squat.
I think the coolest thing I have is I have a set of the 1946 Boston Red Sox team pictures. It's not like baseball cards because baseball cards weren't. I mean, they didn't sell team baseball cards in the gift shop like they do nowadays, right? Or like they did when we were kids. These are they're like 5x7s maybe, and there's an individual picture of each one of the members of the 1946 Red Sox, and it's in the original envelope that they were bought in at Fenway Park. My wife found that for me for Christmas one year. And that's probably like the coolest artifact thing that I have.
See, most of mine are recreations or something like that I've had guys sign.
Right.
I do have I have a New York Sack Exchange all-in-one jersey. I have a Klecko and I have a Gastineau,
cool.
But I have an all-in-one that's got all 4 numbers on the back, and it was signed by all of them. And then the picture was signed by Marty Lyons, Klecko, and Gastineau.
Mm-hmm.
I never got Abdul Salam, but I do have
great.
his signature on the jersey.
Nice. All right. Just, none of it can really compare to, John Lennon's designer glasses from 1978. But, hey, we got some cool things, too.
For sure. I mean, look, we got a lot of pictures of a lot of stuff that we've done.
Yeah. I do have a signed copy of the Sports Illustrated with Rashad McCants on the cover. If anybody's interested, I will sell it to you for a whole 45 cents.
That actually might be the first artifact ever that is worth less than the magazine was when it was put into publication. Bought it for $1.99, got it signed, worth 45 cents.
Actually, I wonder if I could take it to the rest of his teammates and have them sign the copy of it that just says F. Rashad. And then that would make it special, right?
That would be a piece of memorabilia. You take it to that entire Carolina team. You get your own page, just write what you think of him. And then now we're talking about something's worth some money.
Right. You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400.
ESPN Asheville, your mountain weather forecast.
Breeze. Are you clear?
For us here this
Thank you.
afternoon, mostly sunny skies, gusty northwest winds at times to 30 to 35 miles per hour or more. Temperatures here this afternoon reaching highs in the low part of the 70s, almost 10 degrees cooler than we were yesterday. Down around 50 tonight, sunny, breezy, cool near 70 tomorrow. Sunny and low 70s Saturday, and then a chance for showers, even storms late Sunday into and through Memorial Day. I'm meteorologist Ken Boone at the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by A. American Electric.
For over 40 years, A. American Electric has been family-owned and operated right here in WNC. With 3 generations and over 100 dedicated teammates, they are powered to serve our community. Homes and businesses can trust A. American Electric. Visit a-americanelectric.com.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your RV, RV wins.
What, are you going to take the RV to the mountains or go pick up your dry cleaning? RV wins! Are we cleaning the gutters or taking the RV camping? RV wins! Are we getting a new passport or cruising up the coast? RV wins!
Don't forget, you got that trip to Sweden coming up.
Oh, yeah, passport, then RV.
With Progressive, you can bundle your RV with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings in your RV. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states and situations.
Everyone has a fave Wendy's Frosty flavor. And when you're choosing from chocolate or vanilla, it's not that
Do you
hard.
have your
And now, there's
outside
all-new
story ready?
Frosty Swirls and Frosty Fusions. So try picking your fave from Oreo,
Yeah.
Pop-Tarts,
What is it?
Strawberry Fusion, Strawberry.
So I make sure.
Tyrese Halliburton from last night.
Oh, yeah.
Not so easy now, huh? For a fresh way to Frosty, gotta be Wendy's.
Participating U.S. Wendy's. Oreo is a trademark of
You did see the part where he said he didn't know that was a 2, right?
Grab your shade.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Your
Move,
free
make sure.
iHeartRadio app for the start of summer 2025. No matter where you go this summer, your favorite radio station, the music you love, and the best podcasts in the world will be along for the adventure. Make sure you have the free iHeartRadio app in your phone today.
Buying or selling a home doesn't have to be stressful. Let me, Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, your local real estate expert, guide you every step of the way. Whether you're searching for your dream home, looking to sell quickly, or exploring investment opportunities, I've got the experience and the tools to get you the best deal possible. Call me, Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty at 828-774-6343. Let's make your real estate dreams a reality. I'm your trusted realtor. I'm making moves and making dreams come true.
Did you know Ingalls only sells USDA Choice and Prime cuts of meat? Maybe it's time to reward yourself. Our butchers cut all our meat fresh in the store every day. Grass-fed, organic, you name it. Not only that, we'll even cut it to order just the way you like it. And we grind meat fresh in the store multiple times a day. It's all in the bag. That's the best meat in town for the best folks in town. Ingalls, low prices, love the savings.
This is J.W. Whitley, General Manager at Parks Ford of Hendersonville. I would like to introduce you to some of our very own Parks community heroes. Like Trent and Doug, whose first instinct was to fill their trucks with supplies and drive to the areas that were hardest hit in those first hours. Like Spencer, who helped build a bridge out of debris to rescue 7 families after the road was washed away. Nominate your Parks Community Hero today at parkscommunityheroes.com. That's parkscommunityheroes.com. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
It is ESPN Asheville. This is the Sportsocracy, coming to you live from the Ingalls studio, also the NFL Draft.net. Mullet Manor last night in the NBA playoffs, Eastern Conference Finals, Game 1, the Indiana Pacers and the New York Knicks, Madison Square Garden. And it was, well, it was a choke job once again by the New York Knicks, hearkening back to 1994 when, of course, Reggie Miller did the big choke sign. We talked about this the other day. I had the picture hanging on my wall when I was in middle school of Reggie Miller doing the choke sign during the playoffs. We had a similar situation last night. Tyrese Halliburton led the charge for Indiana as they ran last 3 minutes of the game. Basically ran New York off the floor to erase a 14-point deficit. And then Tyrese Halliburton had a chance to win it at the buzzer. And he throws the shot up. Actually, drives the lane, then he backs up for a 3 to win it, and he makes the shot in dramatic fashion, bounces off the back of the rim, goes way high up in the air.
Straight up.
And then goes straight through the net. And he loses his mind. And he clutches the throat, and he looks over at Reggie Miller, who's calling the game on television, and they have a moment where they're pointing at each other. The problem is the moment may have been wasted because it was only a 2-pointer. It wasn't a 3-pointer, and it only tied the game to send it to overtime. Now, I don't think, Jeremy, that there has ever been an overtime period where a team has rallied around their leader so much because at some point Halliburton, it dawned on him, y'all, we got to win this in overtime because if we don't, this is going to be bad for me. I'm going to wind up on a billboard somewhere in New York.
You know what makes me angry about this, the whole way this ended?
What?
From the time there was 4:45 to go in the fourth quarter, the Pacers scored 24 points. Do you know how many of them Tyrese Halliburton scored?
2.
It was the final 2. Pascal Siakam hit 2 free throws. Every other point was scored by Aaron Nesmith. He hit 6 threes and 2 twos in the last 4 minutes, and nobody has said his name one time today. It might be the greatest heat check we've ever seen, and nobody said his name. I also find it really funny.
He didn't have the last shot.
I also find it really funny because I don't feel like you told the Tyrese Halliburton story 100% accurately.
Okay.
He drove the lane, went, oh, wait, they can't get back to me that quick, and sprinted back to the 3-point line. But he left his foot on the line.
Yeah.
You were so close. So close. Nick fans, how did that feel after all of the fun you had at the expense of the Boston Celtics? Allow me to just say you earned every bit of what you get today.
Oh, no doubt. There was major trash talk happening up in the Big Apple when Boston blew 2 straight 20-point leads to lose games to the Knicks in the last series. So, hey, Indiana Pacers, you don't want to mess with them. What are the Pacers-Oklahoma City Thunder final? That's going to draw some interest for you, isn't it?
Yep. I got to wash my hair that entire 2 weeks. Like I'm gonna do a fortnight hair cleansing. I have 2 outside stories. One of them doesn't take very long. It's just funny, and it deals with a school that has an affiliation close to where we are. SMU. SMU's never exactly been known as a bastion of academic prowess. Fact or fiction?
Fact.
This was the home of the Pony Express. This was one of the first places to get busted for paying players. So yesterday, their social media team, they decided to do a thing, and I'm going to read the caption, and I want to see if you can fill in the blank. It's from SMU football. You can find them on Twitter at SMUFB. Getting it done in the classroom, hand clap emoji. This semester marks the highest full semester GPA in program history. I want you to take a stab at what that GPA is.
I will say...
Now, before you do it, I'm going to give you a little point of reference here. Always remember that football players don't necessarily always take the most rigorous course load. 4 is an A, 3 is a B, 2 is a C, D is a 1, and then 0 is if you fail.
I'm going 3.1.
You're too high.
Oh, no, it's
2.95.
I was going to say 2.9, dang it, and I thought there's no way that they would celebrate not having a B.
2.95. The average grade of an SMU football player was below a B. And they felt the urge to brag about that on Twitter. You can assume how that went. Some of the funnier ones that I saw. there was a picture of a elementary school classroom that just said the classrooms at SMU. That one's pretty funny. One with LeBron James beating his chest that said C's get degrees. And then finally, my favorite, they don't come here to play school. I laughed at that a lot.
That's a good one.
That is a good one.
It was, yeah. So they did have an average GPA of 3.1, but then at the last minute, 16 players made a D in finger painting. And it swayed it down.
I'm not going to lie. I didn't know where you were headed with that until the last word came out of your mouth. And there was a point in there where I was about to clutch my pearls because I thought you were going to say something so different.
No, not me.
Oh, God. That's hilarious. 16 players got a D in finger painting.
Yeah, brought down the average a little bit.
Good for you. I'm so glad I told that story. Now I can actually tell my actual honest-to-God outside story.
Okay, it is.
So I told you this a couple years back that this was in development, but now we have a date for the enhanced games. 2026, May of 2026, we will get the first, I'm going to call it Olympiad because it is the events of the Olympics, but there will be no testing for performance-enhancing drugs.
Okay.
Now,
steroid games.
Two people are, there's a backing group here. It's a venture capital fund. Who are the two least surprising names that I could say here that are supporting this?
Mark McGuire.
And Barry Bonds and Mark McGuire were the right two answers.
Right.
They're not
Roger
the right
Clemens.
answers, but they were the correct answers.
Roger Clemens. He's been doing the fundraising
with an anonymous contribution from Andrew Pettit.
I misremembered.
I still didn't do it. Clemens misremembered. Andy Pettit just went, I know you have the failed test. Still didn't do it. No. I will go to my great. The answer was Donald Trump Jr. and Peter Thiel. Okay.
Yeah, those make sense.
So they have Christian Goklemiev. She was a Greek swimmer. She was in the Paris Olympics. She finished fifth. They have apparently been allowing her to train for these games, and she has broken the 50-meter freestyle world record. She finished fifth, not on drugs. When we didn't test her, she broke the record all time. So that's. Will you watch this, yes or no?
No, I will not.
I would watch this before I'd watch the Olympics and wouldn't think twice about it. You're telling me I got a chance to see somebody throw a shot put like out of a baseball stadium? Hell yeah, sign me up. Let's go. You get Igor out here that's got arms that are as big. He looks like Braun Strowman, only bigger. And he shows up with a javelin, and people in the crowd are getting antsy. Like, can he reach us? We're at 600 feet. He can't reach us, surely to God.
We already have this. It's called the
Olympics.
Russian National Championships.
Yeah, we already have this. It's called the Olympics or the Tour de France or baseball. You're right. We do already have this. That's kind of the point I'm trying to prove. You're right. We've been doing this forever, but you all talk about integrity of the game.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, just wait when we do this, and all of a sudden the steroid games have numbers that look very similar to the real Olympics, and you'll get it's because they didn't get the best athletes in the world, or because they're really good at hiding it. Have you seen the documentary on the Liver King, by the way?
No.
It's on Netflix. Do you know who that is?
Yes.
Okay, so he was one of those that he always said, I've never taken – he's not big. He's like 5'5".
Yeah, but, he's massively muscular.
He's yoked, and he never wears a shirt, and he's like, it's because I eat liver straight out of the animal. Or it's because you take a bajillion steroids.
Exactly.
And you know who told us that? Joe Rogan. From early on, another feller that's taken a good number of steroids in his life and been pretty open about it.
Mm-hmm.
When the steroid guys look at you and go, they're on steroids, you should probably listen.
Right. The world's strongest man competition. That's the steroid games.
And I'm fine.
I've seen it before. I've seen it before.
And I'm fine with that.
I'm not interested.
If you tell me that, look, they're not hurting me, they're doing it of their own volition. But if you're telling me some yoked up guy whose name I can't pronounce is about to pull a bus with his teeth, you betcha I'm there. Mm-hmm. I'll watch that before I watch some dude from Finland swim the breaststroke. Yeah, sorry, don't care. So don't care. Already check my calendar. Got to wash my hair that day. Don't care. Baseball gets Dustin Pedroia. Like, hey, watch him leg out an infield single. I'm good. You give me Barry Bonds and his freak head hitting 500-foot home runs, that I'll watch.
His freak head.
Yeah, look, Barry Bonds is the first person in the history of time that ever wore a 7 1/8 in college and wore an 8 1/8 when he retired.
It was bigger than that.
I don't know I don't know what that workout is. It makes your head bigger, but let's go.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN. I didn't have the enhanced games on my bingo card, but I will be honest with you. When you first said the enhanced games, I thought you were going to be talking about people who had been through plastic surgery participating in I don't know.
Well, I'm not going to lie. When I saw
I'd rather watch that enhanced games.
Well, I'm not going to lie. When I saw the headline for the enhanced games, I thought they were doing something athletic at the Playboy Mansion. So the story was not what I thought I was clicking on.
You give me Wendy Whoppers doing the hurdles, I'm in. I am not interested in.
Could you run that name back for me one more time?
You've never heard that name before?
Nope, I have not.
You should ask your dad about that. Rick, he knows all about Wendy Whoppers. That was an old school adult star.
Okay, let's go. That makes me really want Burger King. I don't know if that means I'm fat or if my brain's broken.
That's all of it.
I don't know,
dude. That just means you're dude.
I don't know what that means about me, but now I can't get the Burger King song out of my head.
I mean, see, you give me steroid baseball. Okay, yeah, I'm in. I think I'm in for that. I mean, it's kind of like watching, watching the traveling softball guys that hit it 800 miles.
Look, in our YouTube chat too, David L. Steroid baseball was more entertaining baseball. Agree, 100%. Kelvin Joyner, it won't be too much longer till people get robot parts. Can't wait to see those games. Charlie Sheen once said, I would pay good money to watch a meat-covered robot hit a baseball 800 feet. And that touched my soul in a way that I can't explain because I would watch that 100 times before I would watch Dustin Pedroia, who I met one time, and he looked like I could carry him around in a baby Bjorn.
You very well could.
He was like 5'6", and he was the MVP of your league.
Yep.
I think that was the day I went, nope, don't care. Not even a little bit.
What are you saying? Little guys can't be stars?
In
Steph
sports?
Curry was the NBA MVP. He's a little guy.
No, Steph. Pretty well played against him, as a matter of fact. Mm-hmm. He would make you look like a small child. Because Steph's legit about 6'1". And he's fast as lightning. Dustin Pedroia looked like every dude I've ever seen work on a warehouse dock in my life. He was short, he was a little doughy, and he was the MVP of your league.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good. Patrick Holt just won the chat, and I can't say that out loud. I want to, though, so bad, but I can't. I can't do it. Just you find us on YouTube, and you enjoy that as well.
Oh, you're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM. And 1,400, you know what you should do for the Memorial Day holiday? You should really honor those who sacrificed all by taking the family out for a wonderful meal. Cox Avenue, downtown, 135 Cox Avenue, or on in Sweeten Creek Brewing on Sweeten Creek Road in South Asheville. The official barbecue of the Sportsocracy will have all of your favorites ready to serve up for you whenever you want to stop by. It is the best barbecue in town, and they have some of the greatest culinary creations ever known to man. The bear bowls are absolutely one of the greatest inventions of all time. You need to try them if you haven't. The Moink balls are very good as well. Those are the bacon-wrapped meatballs. You can get all of your favorite barbecue things just compacted into one nice little to-go container, basically. You can get mac and cheese, cornbread, baked beans, and meat all in one little bowl, ready to go. And it's all affordable for the whole family. Bears Smokehouse Barbecue, the official barbecue of the Sportsocracy. Check them out at bearsbbq.com.
ESPN Asheville.
Yeah, we're clear.
Thank
Your
you.
mountain weather forecast.
Breezy to windy and cooler for us here this afternoon. Mostly sunny skies, gusty northwest winds at times to 30 to 35 miles per hour or more. Temperatures here this afternoon.
That is
reaching
beyond
highs
a
to the low
shadow
part
of a doubt
70s, almost
the
10
weirdest
degrees cooler
comment
than
I've
we were
ever made
yesterday.
in the history
Down
of our
around 50
YouTube.
tonight, sunny, breezy, cool near 70 tomorrow. Sunny and low 70s Saturday.
What was that?
In a couple of weeks, we have an announcement about Holt's Wiener and Tank's balls, and my ability to judge them.
Sponsored by Macy's Backstage. What will you find at Macy's Backstage? How about essential warm weather styles, just $30 and under, like dresses, shoes and bags, men's, and even kids looks. Find the latest trends, new arrivals, and
They
great
let us do
prices
this
at a
on the
Macy's
radio,
Backstage
and
store
they
near
pay
you.
us.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Do you disregard people's personal space? Sitting next to people in public, even if there are tons of open seats? Do people ask, how do you sleep at night? Then you should get a mattress from Mattress Firm. They can help anyone sleep. It's Mattress Firm's Memorial Day sale. Now through Tuesday, save up to 70% on top brands and get a queen for just $89.99, the lowest price ever. Get matched at Mattress Firm. Sleep at night. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce, spruce, spruce,
It's Spruce, the new hard-working, worry-free weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people and pets. When used as directed, spray the leaves for visible.
Jeremy, did you look up Wendy Whoppers?
One day, you spray, they play.
I
Weeds
did
die by the
not.
next day. Find Spruce wherever weed killers are sold.
If you're ready for a new job, let Express Employment Professionals help you. Express is already hiring for summer jobs in a variety of industries. Job seekers never pay a fee at Express. Go to expresspros.com to find your location.
Oh, I'm
That's
going to regret
expresspros.com.
searching for this.
In the aftermath of
for
Hurricane
sure.
Helene, we found out a lot of things about our community. We saw neighbors helping neighbors, and we learned in desperate times one of the best things to
Good
have a red.
Lord.
There it is.
When you live in these mountains, you figure it out. Like, you make stuff happen.
After answering the calls for help
Wowie.
that they heard on the radio, the Chainsaw Brothers are still here, making it happen the right way. Fair,
Yowzer.
insured, and local. Need tree help? Call. Rick met her at a Hooters one time. 316-1013.
Looking to buy or sell
Back when the mullet was flowing.
WNC with eXp Realty, we're proud to be the #1 real estate team in Buncombe County. Give us a call, 828-774-6343. We're here for what matters most, you.
Welcome to the Ingalls Table, a delicious destination with recipes galore. Need to whip up a dessert, entree, side dish? No problem. The experts from the Ingalls Table
Balls.
with expert tips and advice along the way. Find the Ingles table at ingles-markets.com or swing by the store.
I want to send that. I want to send the last 10 minutes to Bears and just go. Before you, are you sure this is? These are the two idiots that you signed up for. Okay.
To improve lives with every interaction. This is JW, General Manager at Parks Ford Hendersonville. Experience the Parks Promise today.
When I told them our team was going to be called Beer City's okayest wieners, they got very excited by that.
Canton, North Carolina, Friday and Saturday, May 30th.
Oh,
that's weird. My wife does the same thing.
Melissa Carper.
They thought that was a very solid team name.
Denisha, Fancy and the Gentleman, The Last Rebel, and American Aquarium. Proceeds support the programs of Lake Logan, Camp Henry, and the Outdoor School. And for every
as soon as they responded, I went, y'all fit as a sponsor here like a glove. You are welcome here forever and always.
Camping tickets on sale now at coldmountainmusic.org.
I'm Naheem Hines. I support the Muscular Dystrophy Association because they help my mom and kids like Ethan.
I also just ate one plate from there for 4 days.
I have more hope than ever before.
Join us and learn more at mda.org today.
From the Ingles studio, WPEK Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, W225CJ Candler, the #1 preset in your car, and the new and improved iHeartRadio app. Free never sounded so good.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website, GRAND. That's GRAND. Enter it now.
Go to espnavl.com to play, and good luck.
The Sportsocracy.
It fires me up, man. I love it. Say it one more time.
The Sportsocracy.
Shake it back!
Beer City's best sports talk.
It is gross.
Just earlier.
They are mature, actually. You just have to get to know them better.
Your lunchtime dose of dumbassery. Live from the Ingles studio.
Back on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400. The Sportsocracy is heard everywhere you go on the iHeartRadio app. Seen everywhere on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com. Click the live video link. Subscribe to the channel. And that way you can join us in the chat. It is another, well, actually, it's the final day of Prediction Week here in the Sportsocracy. Flostradamus Jeremy Green and I breaking down every schedule in the NFL, division by division. We've worked our way to the Wests today. We start in AFC West or NFC West? Because I feel
let's get whatever you feel. Let's
I was gonna say I feel like we should start in the NFC West. That's my vote.
I'm fine with that.
This is the hardest division for me to figure out which way it goes, and it's all because I'm trying to just overcome my own preconceived notions about what these teams are supposed to be going into this year, because the last place team in the division will be who?
The San Francisco 49ers.
I guess so. I guess that's just where we live now. That the San Francisco 49ers are the worst team in the division. I mean, it's close with Seattle, isn't it?
I believe so, yes. I think all four of these teams are close. Because people are going to hear me say San Francisco is the worst team in the division. No, you're not as good as you think you are. I had them at 9-8, and then I really looked at the schedule. This was one of the only teams that I changed their number after I was done, because I realized something. As I was going through it, I thought, man, San Francisco's got a really easy schedule. But then I looked at it a little deeper. It's not as easy as I thought it was. Because they don't play back-to-back bad teams until after Thanksgiving. If this goes the way I think it could, the season's already over by then. It doesn't matter, because you're talking about all these veteran guys not necessarily shutting it down, but I don't think you're going to get I don't think you're going to get the San Francisco team that you think you will.
Mm-hmm.
It starts ugly because you have to go at the Seahawks, at the Saints in back-to-back weeks. I don't think the Saints are that tough, but I could see that Saints game being a trap game where the Saints are just playing with their hair on fire for a new coach.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? Maybe they get a win week 1. I don't remember who New Orleans plays week. I remember somebody pretty tough. The Cardinals. If they were to beat the Cardinals in week 1, is there a possibility that they go doubleheader and win both of those? Absolutely. One of the worst things that you can possibly play early in a season is a team that has nothing to lose.
Mm-hmm.
Because they will throw everything at you but the kitchen sink, and you don't know what it's going to look like. Let's just assume they lose to Seattle, they beat New Orleans, they lose to Arizona, they beat Jacksonville, they lose to the Rams, they lose to the Bucs, they lose to the Falcons, they lose to the Texans. That's exactly how I had their season starting.
Mm-hmm.
You're 2-6. The season's over. Season's already over. You're not even to Halloween, and the season's already over. And you've still got games with the Rams, at the Cardinals. You got one with the Bears. You got one at the Colts, which is not easy for a West Coast team coming east. Yes, it's a 425 kick, but still it's a West Coast team coming east. Or actually, no, that's a Monday night game. Never mind. You still got one with the Seahawks. I don't know. The thing I can't wrap my head around with San Francisco is what is it about them that's giving you so much confidence? Everybody talks about, they got the easiest schedule in the league. They're so good. What is it about this team that you're so confident in? And that's not a rhetorical question.
It's Kyle Shanahan. It's the fact that when this team has been healthy, they have won quite a few regular season games. So it's hard to believe that this team, while it still has some of the pieces, obviously the pieces are not what they used to be, and they don't have as many pieces as they used to have. But it's a team that you feel like they generally figure it out to be competitive. So when you say they're going to be last in the division, what record do you have them at?
7-10.
7-10. And I guess it's because the only time they've turned in seasons like that is when they've had the injury excuse, right? We had so many injuries, so we had a bad year this year, right? The CJ beat hard years or whatever.
Okay, so all right, so you say that.
Yes.
They've only had bad years when they've had injury issues. What injury issues did they have last year?
Last year?
Mm-hmm.
Well, hell, Christian McCaffrey didn't even play last year.
Christian McCaffrey's a freaking running back.
Something like that?
Christian McCaffrey's a freaking running back.
Yeah.
If you're telling me your season unwound, he's not the best player they have. Yeah, a running back is never the best player you have, and if he is, you are terrible, and didn't need to hear anything else. Okay, so you didn't have Christian McCaffrey. Whoop-de-doo, you still had Jordan Mason, who was really good.
He was pretty good.
Isaac Guerrero was good for a handful of games. It's not like the team couldn't run.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's what irritates me so badly when I hear this about San Francisco. Well, they didn't have Christian McCaffrey, so of course they went 6-11. Okay, so what you're telling me is basically you'll make an excuse for San Francisco if they had injury issues if they lose any team. Do you understand they finished 4th in the NFL in total yards last year? Okay. You're telling me it was injury issues? They had the 4th most prolific offense in the NFL last year. Their offense was not the problem. The problem was that their defense couldn't stop a nosebleed with a roll of paper towels. They could beat up on bad teams. Mm-hmm. They couldn't beat up on good teams. And if you look through that schedule, it's not that hard to figure that out. Do you realize who San Francisco beat last year?
Who?
Just the 6 games that they won.
Mm-hmm.
It was the Jets, the New England Patriots, the Seattle Seahawks, the Dallas Cowboys, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Chicago Bears. Do you understand that one of those teams was any good, and it was a team that played in the worst division in the NFL? Meanwhile, you lost to the Vikings, the Rams, the Cardinals, Kansas City Chiefs, Seattle, Green Bay, Buffalo, the Rams, Miami, Detroit, Arizona. All of the good teams you played, they beat you because you're not very good. And some of them beat the bejesus out of you. The Buffalo Bills beat you until they felt better about it. And Brock Purdy had 94 yards passing in that game. By the way, that's the third highest paid quarterback in the league now.
Yep. Green Bay did as well.
I don't get it. I'm going to ask you a question. And I did not preface this, so you have no idea that this is coming. You said Kyle Shanahan's what makes people trust San Francisco.
Yes.
He's coached 132 games in the NFL. What's his record? I'll accept actual record or win-loss percentage. Don't really care. You go either way.
I'd say his win-loss percentage is, I don't know, 62%, something like that.
You're 10% too high. It's 53.
Really?
He's 70-62 as a head coach. He's 70-62 as a head coach.
Okay.
And people treat him like he's Tony Dungy. And I cannot, for the life of me, figure that out. Kyle Shanahan is the Paramount Carowinds of NFL head coaches. It sounds good when you say it, and then you go, and it's nothing but a bunch of fat, sweaty people on roller coasters, and it smells like some of them may have died 4 days ago. It's not that good. Kyle Shanahan is probably the most overrated coach of my lifetime. And by the way, that's in a league that has Sean Payton in it. I don't get what it is about him that makes people just make excuse after excuse after excuse after excuse for him. He's done less with more than any coach I've ever seen. Do you understand that the San Francisco roster was exactly where Philadelphia is right now? Just 2 years ago.
Okay.
And he and John Lynch have managed to crash this thing into the ocean to the point of now I look at their defense and go, you're not good at any position. And I dare you to find me the one they're good at. And if you say linebacker, just remember they have two linebackers that start out of their three that are not even – they're fractionally taller than you are.
Mm-hmm. So, just completely overrated.
The defense is not good.
We're going to find out this year.
The defense is not good.
Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying the defense is not good, and it's not hard to figure out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, literally, just go back through last year. Fact or fiction, this defense is worse right now than it was a year ago.
Yeah, sure.
They gave up 23 points to the Minnesota Vikings, 27 to the Rams, 24 to the Cardinals, 28 to the Chiefs, 20 to Seattle, 38 to Green Bay, 35 to Buffalo, 29 to Miami, 40 to Detroit, and 47 to Arizona. That's the unit you keep arguing, not you, metaphorical you. You keep arguing with me about that's what's going to prop up Brock Purdy. Nah, dog, you got this backwards, and you've had it backwards for 2 years. Brock Purdy has to prop up the defense, not the other way around. And now you're asking a guy that's gone from Deebo Samuel and a healthy Christian McCaffrey and a late 20s George Kittle and Brandon Ayuk. You went from that to now no Deebo, a broken-down Christian McCaffrey who, shocker, got to 2,000 touches and all of a sudden he can't stay healthy anymore. Who's surprised? Ooh, I'd say it was unpredictable, except I predictable it the day you traded for him. George Kittle's now 31 years old, and Brandon Ayuk played, 5 games last year?
Yep.
7. Sorry, I missed
7
it.
games.
I missed it.
Christian only played 4 games.
His 374 yards mistook me that maybe he didn't play but 4. But you got Ricky Pearsall and Jawan Jennings and whatever else you're chucking out there. This team's just not good. Now, that's all of the negative. Here's the positive. There is a possibility you win a couple of these games you're not supposed to, you're going to be knocking on the door of the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Nuck in our YouTube chat just compared Kyle Shanahan to Jeff Fisher, and yep, you're 100% right. Yep, you're 100% right, because Jeff Fisher was the same guy. Started out bad, got pretty good in the middle, then the drafting was so bad, and they didn't have a quarterback anymore that they crashed into the rocks. It's the exact same trajectory.
Mm-hmm.
The only difference is the 49ers paid Brock Purdy, the Titans invested in Vince Young. That's the only difference in that comparison. And it's really, really good.
Okay. Jeff Fisher and Kyle Shanahan.
They sounded like great coaches until you really drilled down on it.
I was going to say, do we just give him the benefit of the doubt because he's a Shanahan, because of his dad?
I think you give him the benefit of the doubt the way you did his dad.
Well, I mean, he was another one of those that you kind of had to, right?
Why?
I mean, he won a bunch of games until he won the Super Bowl.
Oh, you've got this so backwards. What year of coaching did Mike Shanahan win his Super Bowls?
What year as a coach?
Mm-hmm. He coached for, and I'm approximating here because there were some lapses in this.
I don't know.
He coached
11,
for 20 years.
12, something like that.
It was 5 and 6.
5 and 6, really?
Mm-hmm. He coached for the Raiders for 2 years. He'd been in Denver. His third year, he won the first one. His fourth year, he won the second one. From there, he won more than 10 games 2 times in 14 years.
Really?
He's the same guy. They're the same guy. Because they're both guys that thought they were so much smarter than everybody else that it's all the system. It's my offensive system. It's my defensive system. We'll find these guys. We'll overdraft them. None of it will matter. It worked with John Elway. It's never worked with anybody else. Mm-hmm. Ever. Oh, we won 13 games. Cool. You went in the playoffs. You won a game against a low-tier wildcard team and got your brains bashed out in the second round. That was Mike in Denver. Same things happened to Kyle. You go into the playoffs, it's that Cat Williams thing all over again. Chrysler 300 looks like a Phantom till a Phantom drives by. And I got news for you. If you look at San Francisco's roster right now, it doesn't take you long with Detroit, Washington, Philadelphia, the Rams. I'll even go Arizona. If you go Arizona's roster stroke for stroke with San Francisco, you get to about 20 and go, this isn't even close. Yeah, you've got a few high-side guys that Arizona doesn't necessarily have. But you get into those early teens guys, it's not even in the ballpark. I'll still never understand how San Francisco picked 4 picks ahead of Arizona. One of them got Michael Williams, one of them got Walter Nolan, and it was the one that picked second that got a player I had in the top 10. because San Francisco does this. And unfortunately, I just watched this with Robert Saleh because he tried to do some of the same things. He just had Joe Douglas to bail him out. Mm-hmm. Robert Saleh falls in love with these guys that fit his system, and some of them work out. Quincy Williams has been an absolute stud. Nick Martin was a borderline draftable player for every team in the NFL except the San Francisco 49ers, and they took him in day 2. Mm-hmm. And if you go through it over the last few years with John Lynch, it's not hard to figure out how this roster has atrophied this badly. But it has. You hit on Brock Purdy, and Brock Purdy was really good when he had a lot of pieces around him. And the pieces are going to atrophy every single year. George Kittle's getting he's getting older. You know who the tight ends they've drafted other than him are? Luke Farrell and Ross Dwelly. I don't see another George Kittle.
No.
Your wide receivers that you drafted were Ricky Pearsall and Jordan Watkins and Jacob Cowing and Trent Taylor. Those aren't NFL players. If they are, they're fringe rosterable. And that's what San Francisco does over and over and over and over and over again. And now you're here.
San Francisco 49ers projected as the last place team in the NFC West by Flostradamus. You said 7-10. The official prediction.
Yep.
What is their number in Vegas? I'm just curious.
10.5, I think.
So under. Okay.
I can tell you because I've got it pulled up. I just got to get to that screen. I know they're way too high. Yep, 10.5. Wow. 10.5. 10.5. You smoke crimes.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. It is prediction week. NFC West continues next.
Still getting around
Clear
in your car?
Tal said I get more enjoyment out of the 49ers losing than I do the Jets
Doesn't
winning.
matter if it's a major injury repair.
I'm not sure he's not right.
Or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place. For changes big
Their
and small,
fan base has said some
loud,
horrible
quiet.
things to me.
Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
It's because you're a naysayer.
Safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I lived on a commercial salmon fishing boat in Alaska, and I genuinely think that was the first time I've ever felt myself kind of like slipping mentally. I think Alaska does weird things to people.
If you're interested in hearing anonymous callers like this tell stories from their lives, check out my podcast, Therapy Gecko. You can listen to Therapy Gecko on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Follow Therapy Gecko and start listening on the free iHeartRadio app today.
Buying or selling a home doesn't have to be stressful. Let me, Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, your local real estate expert, guide you every step of the way. Whether you're searching for your dream home, looking to sell quickly, or exploring investment opportunities, I've got the experience and the tools to get you the best deal possible. Call me, Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty at 828-774-6343. Let's make your real estate dreams a reality. I'm your trusted realtor. I'm making moves and making dreams come true.
Welcome to the Ingalls Table, a delicious destination with recipes galore. Need to whip up a dessert, entree, side dish? No problem. The experts from the Ingalls Table take you through it step by step with expert tips and advice along the way. Find the Ingalls Table at ingalls-markets.com or swing by the store and pick up your free copy of the Ingalls Table magazine. And let's get cooking. Ingalls, low prices, love the savings.
This is J.W. Whitley, General Manager at Parks Ford of Hendersonville. I would like to introduce you to some of our very own Parks community heroes, like Eric, who hosted the football team to support their neighbors and begin the cleanup efforts, like Jeff and Chris, who led a fleet of Ford commercial vehicles throughout the night, delivering supplies with emergency services to all corners of the county and first responders. Nominate your community hero at parkscommunityheroes.com. That's parkscommunityheroes.com. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
Good morning, guys. I just want to warn you, traffic is tough out there.
We are here for you to tell you how to keep safe.
Everybody who is listening needs to take cover as soon as they can.
To provide the music, talk, and sports you love. And to deliver the news that matters to you. We are the voices you can trust. We are live and local. We are America's broadcasters. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress you depend on your local radio stations.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to STOP.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
The Sportsocracy.
You were just dumping a bag of hammers.
Welcome back into the Sportsocracy. It is ESPN Asheville, and once again, I wanted to say a congratulations to our 2 winners from our ESPN Asheville Facebook contest. The Atlanta Braves will play the San Diego Padres this weekend in Atlanta, and we got a couple of followers that are going to go check it out. Tim and David were our winners from the Facebook contest. All you got to do is interact with the Facebook page to win. So you want to go and follow ESPN Asheville on Facebook because we'll have more cool stuff going out as we continue to build the brand here. So congratulations to Tim and David for picking up the Braves tickets for the Padres. We will have Red Sox tickets available next week. So, again, like I said, stay tuned. Go ahead and follow the page now so you'll be able to get in on that giveaway when it happens. Prediction week in the NFC West. After the San Francisco 49ers, the third-place team for 2025, is it the Cardinals or the Seahawks?
It is the Seattle Seahawks.
Okay.
This is proof positive of how much schedule order matters. Because I feel like Seattle's schedule it's not terrible. I just don't really like the way it lays out because of how it starts.
Mm-hmm.
So you play a San Francisco, which I don't really care. That one's at home. Then you have to go to Pittsburgh, New Orleans, at Arizona, Tampa Bay, at Jacksonville, which is that is the longest cross-country trip they can have. Houston before a bye. Bye's in a good spot. Then out of the bye, you go at Washington, Arizona, at Los Angeles. Gross. Then you play five teams actually, that should be pseudo-competitive for a playoff berth in your last 6.
Mm-hmm.
I like what Seattle's doing. Somebody asked earlier, would I take Sam Darnold or Brock Purdy? Especially with what they're making right now, it's Sam Darnold by 5 miles.
Yeah, absolutely. I would take that one just on talent alone.
I would too.
No contract needed.
I would too. I feel like Seattle's a couple moves away. I mean, look, because this team's done good stuff in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I liked Byron Murphy last year. I really like Gray Zabel this year. I like the addition of Elijah Arroyo, Torrey Horton. They've added a lot of pieces that I like. Nick Eamon-Warry, I'm just not sure how many of them are going to contribute at a high side this year.
Mm-hmm.
Because they all have somebody blocking them that I don't know that you don't lean on the veteran early. I'll give you an example. Elijah Arroyo, one of the big knocks on him was that he only had 1 year of high-level production. We got Noah Fant in front of him. So I feel like Arroyo is going to be slowly eased into the offense. That doesn't do much in that first half of the schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just afraid that Seattle hangs around 500 for the vast majority of the year. And then you get into that last run, and they lose a handful of those games against playoff competitive teams.
I don't know what this team is going to grow into. However, I do have faith that it's going to get better as the season goes on. Right, you got a new quarterback. You've got, him still getting, acquainted with the weapons. If the offensive line can stay healthy and they can all gel together, there's no doubt that there's talent on that team. It's just you got to keep everybody healthy. You got to be able to have some cohesion on that offensive line to be able to do the things that you're best at. Now, once you get down to the end of the season, because they have so many of those matchups that you're not playing the world beaters. You're just kind of playing some of the fringe teams. I mean, yeah, you got 2 with the Rams in there. But you're playing a lot of Minnesota Vikings, Atlanta Falcons, Indianapolis Colts, Carolina Panthers. Like there's a chance those teams could be playing for playoff implications. But so will Seattle, and I think they're better than all of those teams.
I think they're better than some of those teams.
So when they get to the end of that schedule, and the Washington, Arizona, LA thing, that's not going to be fun weeks 9 to 11. But after that, there's an opportunity to pick up a whole bunch of wins if this clicks the way that I think it can.
But it has to click that way, and they have to stay healthy.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, of course they do. But if that happens, then I actually have them as the second place team in the division.
What do you have their record at?
11-6.
Holy, whoa.
Mm-hmm. 11-6 is where I landed.
You're gonna have to explain to me how you got there. I'm gonna need you to show your work on that one, there, big boy.
What was your record?
8-9.
8-9.
Okay,
Wow.
so you understand to get to 11-6 that means that they had to win at least one of the games I'm getting ready to say.
Yes.
At Arizona, Tampa Bay, Houston, at Washington, at the Rams, Rams in Seattle, at Atlanta. You had to win one of those 7. I don't think you're even close to any of the teams I just said, except Arizona. I split with Arizona.
I had them beating us, beating the Bucks. The Bucks have to go there in Week 5. Not a fun place to play. Their defense, I think, matches up pretty well with us, and that's to me one of those weird games that it's going to come down to the last play, to the last series, whatever. It's a one-score game that could go either way, and the fact that you're on the road and Seattle's coming off a rest, I didn't like that for us, so I did project them to win that game.
I guess my thing was
all right. To me, they're all right here together. Like
Agreed.
I have the 4 teams in this division all separated by a game.
I have 3 of them separated by a game, and then one of them separated by 2.
Yeah, they go 12-5, 11-6, 10-7, 9-8. That's how it came out in my predictions.
And I went 11-6, 9-8, 8-9, 7-10.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to elaborate on this a hair. I feel like the Cardinals, are a year ahead of Seattle in the rebuild.
Okay.
Seattle clung on to being competitive for a year too long. You weren't a threat to anybody, and I kept trying to tell you that, and every time I turned around, somebody was arguing with me about it. You weren't competitive to the high side of the NFC. Now, the build that you have now, I think, can be. The only thing is that Seattle is one of those teams that builds almost exclusively through the draft. I don't know the way to say this that's going to make people understand it. When you build through the draft, you don't turn quickly. These rookie guys don't just come in and all of a sudden become all pros very often in year 1. And if they do, they usually go in the top 10. Seattle has 0 of those guys on this roster. None. They have one. Devin Witherspoon, who's not a rookie, wasn't really who I was talking about. A lot of these guys are going to come in and they're going to be good, but they're not going to be top of the league guys. I love Gray Zabel. He's a top 20 guard in the NFL year 1?
Maybe.
Seattle just has a lot of those guys. And I asked this about another team, and I don't remember now who it was. How many players on that Seattle roster do you feel like are top 10 in the NFL at their position?
Oh, Lord. Leonard and Devin Witherspoon?
And I think Devin Witherspoon's
fringe.
Because there's a lot of good young corners.
Ernest Jones, maybe, as the inside linebacker.
All right, now let me elaborate on that a little further. Of the guys that you just said, how many of them would be 8, 9, or 10 at their position?
All of them.
Exactly. There's nothing that this team can hang their hat on. I think they're good. I don't think they're great. And that leaves you, to me, Seattle is a year away from everything gelling. I think they still need a couple more pieces. The Cooper Kupp thing doesn't do anything for me. You have a lot of slot receivers. I still don't love your running game. I want to love Kenny Walker, but I'm just not there. And I think your defense is good, not great. They were 13th in the NFL last year in yards allowed per game. I think they're going to be right about there again.
Okay. All right.
So I just don't see an 11-6 team there, and I love Sam Darnold. Now, a lot of what I just said is going to apply to the next team that we're going to talk about as well.
We got 2 more teams to cover in the NFC West here on a prediction week in the Sportsocracy. When we return, we'll get into the Arizona Cardinals
ESPN Asheville.
Clear.
Your
Thank you.
mountain weather forecast.
Breezy to windy and cooler for us here this afternoon. Mostly sunny skies, gusty northwest winds at times to 30 to 35 miles per hour or more. Temperatures here this afternoon reaching highs in the low part of the 70s, almost 10 degrees cooler than we were yesterday. Down around 50 tonight, sunny, breezy, cool near 70 tomorrow. Sunny and low 70s Saturday, and then a chance for showers, even storms late Sunday
not
into
working.
and through
It's
Memorial
starting to
Day.
really
I'm
frustrate
meteorologist
me.
Ken Boone at the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. Don't postpone better sleep. Shop Mattress Firm's Memorial Day sale now. Upgrade to a premium bed from a curated selection and take your rest to the next level. Don't miss out. Visit Mattress Firm today. Get matched. Sleep at night.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. Mop drop. Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop. A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
When you think of hot, you might think about the tragic time you ate too much wasabi. Or about getting into your car on a summer day when it feels more like stepping into a sauna. But heat can work in your favor, like during Verizon Red Hot Deal Days. Get hundreds of hot deals on all your favorites, like iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence, Apple Watch Series 10, and iPad, on any plan. Only until May 28th for new and existing customers. Offer available on My Plan. Only at Verizon.
Grab your shades, your flip-flops, and your free iHeartRadio app for the start of summer 2025. No matter where you go this summer, your favorite radio station, the music you love, and the best podcasts in the world will be along for the adventure. Make sure you have the free iHeartRadio app in your phone today.
Bear Smokehouse Barbecue in Asheville has two things that all Sportsocracy fans crave: bold flavors and big portion balls. And they've got the balls. Bear's famous Bear Balls are packed with mac and cheese, pulled pork, cornbread, and deep fried and then topped with bacon and cheese sauce. This is the place to be. Live music on Saturdays and the first Sunday of every month. They partner with the Guitar Bar to host Mr. Jimmy's Barbecue Blues. Bear Smokehouse Barbecue in downtown Asheville and South Asheville.
Did you know Ingalls only sells USDA Choice and Prime cuts of meat? Maybe it's time to reward yourself. Our butchers cut all our meat fresh in the store every day. Grass-fed, organic, you name it. Not only that, we'll even cut it to order just the way you like it. And we grind meat fresh in the store multiple times a day. It's all in the bag. That's the best meat in town for the best folks in town. Ingalls. Low prices. Love the savings.
This is J.W. Whitley, General Manager at Parks Ford of Hendersonville, introducing you to this month's Parks Community Heroes. Corey and Kristen Short and the entire team at Silverados, who converted their music venue in Black Mountain into a donation and distribution zone in the wake of Hurricane Helene. Corey and his team founded Valley Strong Disaster Relief, dedicated to providing essential support to our neighbors in need. Nominate your Parks Community Hero at parkscommunityheroes.com. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
The Sportsocracy.
Why are you smiling? Because I love football.
Back in the Sportsocracy, and it is ESPN Asheville, NFC West. The Arizona Cardinals, projected by Flostradamus to be the number 2 team in the division this year. What makes them take the turn?
Well, the defense is exponentially better. I mean, I don't think anybody can look at the defense and not tell you it's exponentially better. Adding Dalvin Tomlinson, adding Josh Sweat, getting Walter Nolan in the draft. Darius Robinson should be able to contribute more this year than he did last year. Calais Campbell, veteran presence in that D-line room. Akeem Davis-Gaither, Will Johnson, who I still don't understand how he fell that far, but some teams in the NFL are not very smart. The defense is going to be way better than it was last year. They were like 20th in the league in yards allowed last year. They're going to be better than that. I think this is going to be a top 10 defense. I have them at 9-8. Now let me explain that. I think this is a team that has the potential to be better than that. The end of this schedule is absolutely horrifically awful. Their last 6 games might be the toughest 6 of any team we've done so far. If not, they're in the top handful.
It certainly is not fun. A fun group.
Where do young teams tend to hit the wall?
Mm-hmm.
Week 14.
Mm-hmm.
Because they didn't play that number of games in college. Even with the playoff, the highest side that you can play is 16. You start getting into that week 14. A lot of these guys only played 12 or 13 games last year because a lot of them didn't play in bowl games. And you kind of hit this wall. And I think Arizona's going to be leaning on a lot of younger players.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you go at Tampa Bay, the Rams, at Houston, Atlanta, and then you finish with at Cincinnati and at L.A.
There's not a single team in that stretch that could not easily put up 35 on you.
No, they could lose all 6 of those games. I wouldn't be shocked in the least, and I love this team.
Right.
Do I think they're going to?
Prolific.
Now, do I think they're going to lose all those games? No, I don't.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to kind of hedge my bets this early. All I have are early results from a training camp that really didn't serve to give me any results. So I don't know exactly what this team's going to look like. Mm-hmm. I don't know exactly who's going to play where. I don't know when Will Johnson's going to wind up starting. I don't know. I don't know that Jonah Williams is going to make it to week 1. These are all things that I'm worried about. So I kind of have to split the difference this early. This is why we're doing another one of these before the season starts. Because at that time, I can look at a team and go, okay, you're healthy going into the season. You didn't have anything sideways happen. You're not starting 5 rookies. Whatever the case may be. I think definitively Arizona's the second best team in this division. You don't seem to agree with me on that, which is a little shocking to me.
I don't think it's definitive. I think they got a great shot. They got a good chance of being the second best team in this division. But I think Seattle also has a claim to that.
I don't see how, if you compare the two rosters side by side, and I understand that doesn't have anything to do with the schedule.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see how you can like Seattle better than Arizona. Because no matter how much you dislike Kyler Murray, he's better than Sam Darnold.
Yes.
He just is.
Agreed.
I trust James Conner more than I trust Kenny Walker.
Mm-hmm.
You get into the receivers, and Seattle's incredibly slotty, and I think I've already seen the baseline of what Marvin Harrison Jr. can be. By the way, have you seen him lately?
No.
Good God Almighty, he must have slept in the weight room. He looks like a linebacker. I saw a video of him. It was some press conference he did a few days ago, and I was stunned at how big he was.
Mm-hmm.
And then the improvement in the defense. Mm-hmm. But it's hard for me to go crazy. And I'm seeing Cardinal fans are going, 9-8, that's crazy. It's not, though. When you look at from top to bottom in the NFC, the best team in the NFC is 12-5. I have 2 of them. They're in the same division.
Mm-hmm.
I have 2 teams that are 11-6. I have 1 team with 10 wins. And then I get into a handful of 9-8 teams. Because I have Green Bay at 9-8, I have Arizona at 9-8, I have Tampa Bay at 9-8.
Mm-hmm.
That puts you firmly in the playoff discussion, which is where I think you are. I can't say definitively you're going to make the playoffs because there's so many moving parts. And to say that in May, to me, that's tough for me to do.
Mm-hmm.
Now, then you get to the promising side. This is a dome team that doesn't play outside hardly at all late in the season. I think Red Sea just said that. I saw it in passing.
Yeah, except for at Cincinnati.
At Cincinnati, that's it.
Yeah.
So you get a benefit there. Your schedule also starts lighter. So you get that first 7 weeks, and you got New Orleans and Carolina and San Francisco, Seattle, who I think you're better than and very close to. Tennessee, that I think you're better than. Indianapolis, I think you're better than. Green Bay, I think you're better than. Mm-hmm. That first 7 games is the pivot point for Arizona. Because, I hate to break it, you're going to lose some games on the backside of the schedule. You're
no
just
doubt about
going
it.
to.
And if you have a, back end of the schedule where you could lose 6 in a row, having a schedule where you could win 6 in a row
is beneficial.
Absolutely it is. Like, it doesn't sound great. Oh, ho, hum, 9-8, woo-hoo. Well, you're not necessarily on the cusp of being a contender just yet. Right? You have another
Define
draft
contender.
like you had this year for a Super Bowl.
Okay.
Like winning the NFC, I don't think anybody really sees them in the category of the top 4 teams in the NFC. You're not Philadelphia or Detroit or Washington or any of those teams, but you could be the next one. You could be the next one to get into that group because I do like the pieces. You just need a little bit more. I'm not completely sold that this secondary is going to be all that much better than they were last year. Will Johnson absolutely.
Will Johnson.
Will Johnson absolutely helps, and if he's healthy and all of that, then sweet.
I love Will Johnson, and there was nothing I saw in the medical that scared me.
You could potentially be a game better than the 9-8, 10-7, somewhere in that neighborhood, and that puts you up in that 11-6 category, and then you're right there. Right now, you're talking back into the playoffs, starting to threaten for the top of the division. But there again, would it completely surprise me if things kind of went south at the end of the year for the LA Rams and, Stafford goes rusty or something and they're not winning games like they were and Arizona comes up with a win at the end of the year to win the division against LA at the end of the year? I will not be surprised.
Look, I like all the pieces. And I'll say the same thing out loud that I just said in the chat. I'm way safer here than I am the closer to the year we get. Mm-hmm. Dallas Cowboys notwithstanding, I'm not going to lie, I didn't know that they were going to end up 2-15. I got to the end and I went, oh, didn't see that coming, but here we are. Mm-hmm. I like Arizona to start really hot, and I think the schedule lays out nicely because it starts light and ends heavier, and with a young team, that's what I want.
Yep.
There is a but to that, though, that you can see younger teams hit walls. But I think they're deep enough. You still win some games there, and you're right there in playoff contention.
Yep. Yep. All right, and then that brings us to the LA Rams. The predicted winner of the division, I have them at 12-5 in my calculations.
I have them 11-6.
Okay. So I
think the offense is going to be real good.
Mm-hmm.
The defense, I don't know.
What scares you about the defense?
The collection of all parts does not scream top 10 defense in the NFL to me.
Agreed.
It wasn't a top 10 defense last year.
Mm-hmm.
They were bottom 7 or 8. I think they were 20. They were the 25th or 26th last year in total defense. And I don't think you're that improved. I just don't know how much they're going to improve defensively. I like the young guys. Verse, I told you when they drafted him, you're going to like that you did that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really think they have a ton in terms of pass rushers to help Verse. Because Byron Young's fine. He's never jumped off the page to me. Because, yes, he can get after quarterbacks, but you can run right at him. There's a but for everybody on this team.
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you, the player that I keep looking at going, I wonder how big of a role he's going to have in year one is Josiah Stewart. It's just an interesting fit because he's playing behind another outside linebacker that is not very good against the run. So I'm curious if Josiah Stewart's going to play in earlier downs, which is a weird thing to say about a guy that's that small. Mm. But he actually did hold up against the run. He also could play inside linebacker, and it wouldn't shock me in the least.
Still going to be a nice, movable piece that could make an impact.
Do you have the same issue with the defense, or am I just kind of?
I know I absolutely have the same issue with the defense. You don't. It doesn't feel like there's any star power here. It's all just. It's a bunch of guys.
I like the Poona Ford edition. The Poona Ford edition, I'm a big fan of. That's one of those players that nobody's going to talk about.
Right.
It's not sexy. There's nothing about it sexy. He's bounced around different teams like a ping pong ball for the last handful of years. This will be his 4th team in 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he's a big addition to that defense.
I do like. I do like the front better than any other part of that defense.
The secondary just scares the bejesus out of me.
I like Kobe Turner. Obviously Jared Verse showed us what he has last year, but yeah, your best secondary player is. Who, Akella Witherspoon?
And that's where I get with this. I'm also scared to death that they might be the team that falls for it on Jalen Ramsey.
They very well could.
Because look, they need a corner. They know Jalen. He's fit in this defense.
Mm-hmm.
He's also not what he was 3 years ago. There's a reason no team in the NFL's jumped up. Miami will give them to you for a bag of footballs at this point.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason no team has jumped up to do it.
Right. When it comes to the Rams' schedule, how did you feel about how that shook out? Because
the first 7's about as fair as anything I've ever seen in my life.
Right, it goes on one, off one, one, off one.
I think they have a nice section after the bye.
Right.
After the bye is where they're going to get healthy. Because they play, I want to say that Jacksonville game's international, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, so they play the international game with the Jaguars. Bye week, then they come back. They're home for the New Orleans Saints. You get San Francisco, Seattle, Tampa Bay, Carolina. You could win all 5 of those, and it wouldn't shock me in the least.
Mm-hmm.
Then's where the rubber meets the road. Because you have to go at Arizona, Detroit, at Seattle, at Atlanta, Arizona again. I think that 5 games determines whether the Rams are the 2 seed in the NFC, the 3 seed in the NFC, or a wild card in the NFC. Because, look, they could lose to Arizona twice, and I'm telling you, it wouldn't shock me. I believe more in Arizona than most people do. I'm not going to say I believe less in the Rams. I get scared when you have a 38-year-old quarterback and your plan is going into shootouts because that's the only way you're going to win.
Yep.
Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua, awesome. Let's go. Saddle up and ride. That offense is going to be evil.
It would scare me possibly with any other 38-year-old quarterback. Not Matthew Stafford, though.
Okay, so why does it not scare you, Matthew Stafford? Was he
bionic
or something and nobody told me?
Absolutely. I haven't seen it yet. I don't think I've seen him take his step back.
No. You're not listening. You didn't listen to what I said. I'm not worried about him taking a step back. I'm worried about him taking a step on his back, where he has another one of those. I played 8 games.
Not there.
Yeah, I played 8 games, and all of a sudden we had 8 games of the Rams being quarterbacked by Jimmy Garoppolo, which I'm not in love with. Right. Or, God forbid, old Pew Pew Stetson Bennett himself. That's what scares me. Mm-hmm. And see, that's one of those things that when you do this, I have to take that into account. You got 37-year-old Matthew Stafford that's already missed half a season 2 times in the last 6. If you're telling me this is Jimmy Garoppolo, I'll take the Arizona Cardinals to win the division.
Mm-hmm. I'll agree with you on that one. But I'm not foreseeing that.
I try not to forecast injuries, but it is something that I have to have in my brain.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't guess to see him as that much of a risk. I mean, is his offensive line that much of a suspect?
It's fine.
He's in danger.
It's
that's
fine.
usually the only time that I get concerned of, okay, I've got a 38-year-old quarterback playing behind a Swiss cheese offensive line. Okay, now I'm a little more concerned.
Well, that's not the only time it concerns me. When it concerns me is we start the year with Will Anderson and Daniil Hunter, and we get Tennessee. They got Simmons and Tavondre. Nothing that I'm jumping up and down about.
Right.
Then I got to go Philadelphia, Indianapolis, who has 4. San Francisco, that's got Bosa. Baltimore, that I think has one of the best defenses in the league. Jacksonville has Trayvon Walker and Josh Hines-Allen. So, I mean, maybe you see where I'm headed with this. You start 7 weeks of teams that can get to your quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying anything about your offensive line. You're just playing really formidable edge rushers. Yeah. And so that is something that kind of leaks into my brain of what happens if Stafford starts taking hits and it's not great.
LA Rams win the NFC West for both of us, correct?
Yes, they win it for me. I've got them at 11-6.
Mm-hmm. I've got them at 12-5. We'll take a break. When we come back from the top of the hour, we will discuss the AFC West. Chiefs at the top of the division. Anybody else tracking them down?
This is my division with the most wins, and it's not even close.
We'll talk about it coming up next.
ESPN Asheville.
You're clear.
Mountain weather forecast.
Breezy to windy and cooler for us here this afternoon. Mostly sunny skies, gusty northwest winds at times to 30 to 35 miles per hour or more. Temperatures here this afternoon reaching highs in the low part of the 70s, almost 10 degrees cooler than we were yesterday. Down around 50 tonight, sunny, breezy, cool near 70 tomorrow. Sunny and low 70s Saturday, and then a chance for showers, even storms late Sunday into and through Memorial Day. I'm meteorologist Ken Boone at the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. Don't postpone better sleep. Shop Mattress Firm's Memorial Day sale now. Upgrade to a premium bed from a curated selection and take your rest to the next level. Don't miss out. Visit Mattress Firm today. Get matched. Sleep at night.
Bonus bucks. Bonus bucks. Once you win $1,000 in bonus bucks, you'll have more money to use on your fantasy leagues. Bonus bucks. The winning happens every weekday, right here
on ESPN Asheville.
Looking for a rewarding career with stability and purpose? The NC Department of Adult Correction is hiring correctional officers statewide with a $10,000 sign-on bonus, competitive pay, and benefits. Visit dac.nc.gov/cojobs.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Dan Scott here, inviting you to check out my new show every Sunday, 8 to 9 a.m. here on ESPN Asheville, where we bring sports and faith together. The Dan Scott Show, 8 a.m. Sundays on ESPN Asheville.
I'm Mark Starling, and this Medical Minute is brought to you by Harris Regional Hospital. Do you know the signs of a stroke? May is National Stroke Awareness Month, and Harris Regional Hospital is here to help you stay informed and healthy. Stroke is a leading cause of death and disability, but many strokes can be prevented through healthy lifestyle choices. Take charge of your health this month. Talk to your doctor about your stroke risk. Stay active, eat a balanced diet, stop smoking, and monitor your blood pressure and cholesterol levels. If a stroke does happen, every second counts. Harris Regional is proud to be designated as an acute stroke-ready hospital by the American Heart Association, meaning our emergency team is trained and equipped to deliver prompt, life-saving stroke care 24/7. Remember the signs: face drooping, arm weakness, or speech difficulty. If you notice any of these, call 911 immediately. With expert stroke care close to home, you can live your healthiest life. Are you at risk for a stroke? Take our stroke health risk assessment at myharrisregional.com.
Looking to buy or sell in Asheville? At Clarissa Sells WNC with eXp Realty, we're proud to be the #1 real estate team in Buncombe County. Give us a call, 828-774-6343. We're here for what matters most, you.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
In the aftermath of Hurricane Helene, we found out a lot of things about our community. We saw neighbors helping neighbors, and we learned in desperate times one of the best things to have around is a redneck with a chainsaw.
Not just a chainsaw, boy, just country boys in general. When you live in these mountains, you figure it out. Like, you make stuff happen.
After answering the calls for help that they heard on the radio, the Chainsaw Brothers are still here, making it happen the right way. Fair, insured, and local. Need tree help? Call the Chainsaw Brothers. 316-1013. 316-1013.
Mountain Graphics and Showtime Sports have teamed up under a new local owner to serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at the best price. Mountain Graphics and Showtime Sports can customize whatever you, your team, or your local group may need with high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving. Visit mtngraphicsavl.com or showtimesportsavl.com. That's mtngraphicsavl.com or showtimesportsavl.com for your local one-stop custom apparel shops.
This is J.W. Whitley, General Manager at Parks Ford of Hendersonville. I would like to introduce you to some of our very own Parks community heroes. Like Trent and Doug, whose first instinct was to fill their trucks with supplies and drive to the areas that were hardest hit in those first hours. Like Spencer, who helped build a bridge out of debris to rescue 7 families after the road was washed away. Nominate your Parks Community Hero today at parkscommunityheroes.com. That's parkscommunityheroes.com. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
From the Ingles studio, WPEK Fairfield, WMXF Waynesville, W225CJ Candler, the #1 preset in your car, and the new and improved iHeartRadio app. Free never sounded so good.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website, Bills. That's Bills. Enter it now.
Go to espnavl.com to play, and good luck.
Live from the Ingles studio,
I can't wait to play with myself every day.
the Sportsocracy.
Damn the devil to hell! Let the big dog see! Let him on the field!
Come get you some of this.
Fire them cannons. By golly, put more powder in those things.
He couldn't take any more disappointment.
Oh my God, the Jets killed him.
It is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sportsocracy heard everywhere you go on the iHeartRadio app. Seen everywhere on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click that live video link, subscribe to the channel so you can join us in the chat. Final hour of the week. So we'll be.
I keep forgetting it's Thursday.
Yep, we'll be taking the little extended Memorial Day weekend with Friday and Monday. Jeremy doing some traveling. That's why he's wearing his traveling clothes.
I got that travel fit on, bruh.
All
black, head to toe, joggers on. Let's go.
We are rounding out prediction week here in the Sportsocracy with the AFC West. The AFC West. Well, it's run by the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't foresee that changing anytime soon. Do you? Are any of these teams a year, 2 years away from taking over the division?
Oh, you're looking at this a whole different way than I am.
Okay.
You're asking, are they a year away? Well, I'm asking, could they win it this year?
Oh, okay.
The Los Angeles Chargers are closer than you think.
Okay.
How much of a discrepancy did you have between those two teams?
2 games.
I had them tied.
Really?
I had them tied. I also had the other 2 teams in this division tied with each other.
Okay.
Who was your last place team in this division?
The Las Vegas Raiders.
We'll start there, even though I don't want to, because they weren't mine. They won a tiebreaker. That's the same record.
Right. All right. So Las Vegas Raiders and the Denver Broncos.
Are the Raiders the most improved team in the NFL?
The most improved team in the NFL. hadn't thought about it in that sense.
Last year, the Raiders won 4 games. Will any team win more games from year over year than the Raiders from 24 to 25?
I will say probably not. I'll say probably not. If there is, it might be the Carolina Panthers.
Carolina was one I looked at. Chicago Bears one I looked at. Those are really the only ones I think that are in the ballpark. New England is up there too.
Yeah.
New England was 4-13 last year as well.
Yeah, they could definitely be up there.
I actually, now that I look at it, I have New England winning more games than the Raiders. So,
so
I answered my own question. I answered my own question, and it was not the answer I said it was. Facts don't care about your feelings.
That's right.
Stupid.
That unraveled quickly.
Yeah,
one of the most improved teams. I'll go down that path with you. Look, my usual Las Vegas Raider derision is, not as bad anymore.
All right. Give me a percentage of the reason that is. Who gets the credit for your...
Pete Carroll.
How much?
110%.
Wow. I do not agree with you. Not on 110%. Geno Smith, to me, almost as important as Pete Carroll. Not because I think Geno's great, but because you know what I know he's better than? Aiden O'Connell.
Exactly. I mean, it's what he's replacing. Anything was going to be a step up from that. Now, Geno is, better than just your run of the mill. Okay, so we had Aiden O'Connell last year, and this year we have Kenny Pickett. No, he's much better than that.
He's a league average NFL starter.
To me, it all starts at the top with this team, and now you've put Pete Carroll in charge, right? It's obvious that there are others making smart decisions in that organization. I won't tie it all back to Tom, but since he showed up, things have been moving in the right direction. And now that you've turned it over to Pete Carroll and he's starting to form this team into something that he can work with, and he's got some pieces. He's got a running back now. He does have a capable quarterback. He's got one of my favorite weapons in the entire NFL in Brock Bowers. There's pieces on the defense. The pass rush should scare you. I mean, there is serious momentum with the Las Vegas Raiders. I just don't know. I just don't know that this team is going to be, ready to claim a playoff spot. How about that? I just don't see you there.
Is there a more important game in Week 1 of the NFL season than the Raiders at the New England Patriots? Because I can't find one.
Why is that the most important game?
Because whoever wins it has set themselves on a course that could lead to them in the playoffs. Whoever loses it has now called into question the next handful of weeks. All right, I'll give you an example.
Mm-hmm.
If New England beats the Raiders in Foxborough, you feel pretty solid that they're going to take 2 or 3 against Miami, Pittsburgh, Carolina.
Yes.
Before they go to Buffalo. Then they've got that lean-out spot with New Orleans, Tennessee, Cleveland before it gets a little tougher in Week 9.
Yes.
If they lose to the Raiders at home, now you're looking at that schedule going, they could lose to Miami. They could lose to Pittsburgh. They could lose to Carolina. Mentally, I think it's so important, and it's, to me, I have New England beating the Raiders Week 1. Randy L. asked that in the YouTube chat.
Mm-hmm.
The Raiders need this game, I think, more than New England does. Because they get New England on the road Week 1, then they have to go Chargers, at Washington, Chicago the next 3 weeks. If you're not careful, you can start 0-4. Now, you get a great opportunity to be... Even if you were to start 0-4, I think there's a good possibility you could get to 5-6 by Week 12.
Mm-hmm.
Because you do play Indianapolis, Tennessee, Jacksonville, Denver, Cleveland, Dallas. That's a lot of winnable games.
There are winnable games, yes.
But that start's so important.
Mm-hmm.
They need to steal one of those 4 games. Need to be 1-3. Best case scenario, you're 2-2. Say you lose the Chargers, you lose to Washington, you beat New England and Chicago, you're off to the races. Mm-hmm. Because you should be looking at a pretty solid start to the season with that last 6 weeks of the year. The only easy game you have is against the Giants. But if you have enough momentum behind you, things start clicking. Geno's clicking with the receivers. Pete's clicking with Geno. Ashton Genty's not running like Frankenstein. You could be in a pretty good spot.
Right. You could be. I think you're still going to struggle to stop people in the passing game. Yes, the pass rush is crazy.
I don't worry about that secondary nearly as much as you do.
And you've just never done anything to address it.
Well, Darian Porter.
I feel like I've been screaming this since.
You did with a second-round pick, and it was one of my favorite players in the entire class.
Who?
Darian Porter.
Yeah.
Darian Porter's going to be one of the starters here. I'll bet you anything you want. And if you don't believe me, name me the last time you had a sub-6 foot starting outside corner for Pete Carroll. Mm-hmm. Ja'Cory Bennett's currently the slotted starter. He's 5'10". Darian Porter is going to start on the outside with Eric Stokes, and I'll be honest with you, with that pass rush, I don't worry about that. Okay. I don't worry about it. And then I've got linebackers that can get after quarterbacks. Devin White, maybe he finally has found a home after he's bounced around the league like a ping pong ball. Mm-hmm. Do you realize he's only 27 years old?
Yeah.
That's insane to me. I feel like he's been in the league for 19 years.
No, he's only been in the league for a few years. He was, second year? Was it second year in the league that they went to the Super Bowl?
Yes.
In Tampa in 2020?
He fits what Pete does so well, too.
He does. And maybe this is the way that he gets to be that missile piece again. Right? You have, because that's kind of how that worked in Tampa, was that the pass rush was good with Shaq Barrett and Vita Vea and all those guys, and he was kind of freed up to kind of be that missile. Maybe he can do that again. Maybe he finds the niche here, and this defense turns into something terrifying.
You know what Vegas has now that they haven't had in a really long time?
What?
Hope.
Yes.
I look at the second team of the Raiders, the backups. And as opposed to a bunch of guys that I go, how in the world are you in the NFL? I see a lot of Raheem Mostert and Dante Thornton and Michael Mayer and Charles Grant and Caleb Rogers and Charles Snowden and Tyree Wilson, Cody Lindenberg. Those are legit NFL players. And I guess that's where I'm at with Oakland. I hadn't done that in a minute.
Wow.
With Las Vegas. I look at them and go, I've got a good coach that knows how to manage a roster. Mm-hmm. And he's got pieces to do it. I believe in the Raiders. I'm not telling you they're going to make the playoffs. I think they could. I think they're better than a slew of teams in the AFC. Mm-hmm. But I think they're in that dicey, meaty clackers tier with New England, Cincinnati, Indianapolis, and the Broncos. Two of you are making the playoffs. The question is who? Mm-hmm. Because I don't trust that many teams in the AFC.
Even with my pessimism about the Las Vegas Raiders, they're a playoff contender for me. They're right at the bottom of that group, but you're in contention, right?
A couple things go the right way, and you're right there.
Right, you went from being one of the teams that I would not be shocked if they picked number one in the NFL draft for the last 2 years is how I've been talking about them. You went from that to this could be a 9-8, 10-7 team, and I'm not going to be all too shocked about it.
I won't either.
Because you do have winnable games. It's just, you winnable them. Well, guess who's calling the shots now? A coach that I actually trust. and a coach that the players can actually trust.
Your coach improved. Your quarterback improved.
Mm-hmm.
Your weapons improved. I think your offensive line is improved. I think your defense improved.
Mm-hmm.
That is the I don't know what a five is in trinities, but it's the holy five trinity of you hit everything you could possibly need.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not telling you you're a Super Bowl contender because I don't think you are. But you are a team that could slide into the 7th spot in the AFC, and it's not going to shock me.
Yeah, the more I think about it, the more I'm going down the path of you may be right. This may be the most improved team in the NFL. And it may not show it in the win-loss record, right? They may not win as many games more this year than the New England Patriots do. But it's the fact of where you were to where I think you're going to end up after a year of growth.
And you did it
after
without
a year, right?
And you did it without a top 5 pick to take a quarterback.
Yes, after a year of growth and a year of strong leadership, you're gonna have what you've been searching for, which is a winning culture. Something that you haven't had, well, ever. Well, John Madden, I guess. You got to go back to the John Madden days. Because that was probably the last time that you could say there was a winning culture in the building. Now, for the Denver Broncos. You had these two teams in a tie, right?
I did, but I feel like this requires a commercial break because we have to. We got to deep dive on Denver.
Okay.
I don't know that there's not a team more set up for disappointment than Denver.
Mm-hmm.
And I did my homework. I ate my Wheaties and I drank my milk, and I'm prepared to explain to you why this team has let down city written all over it, even though the record's not going to be as bad as you may think based on what I just said.
Mm-hmm. You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville.
Join us at Bear's Smokehouse Barbecue for WTF Thursdays. That's Women to the Front, a new live music.
You're clear.
Thank you.
Lighting incredible solo female artists. Every Thursday from 6:30 till 8:30 p.m. in partnership with WTF Fest, we're bringing powerful performances and good vibes to the stage. It's free, it's fun, and it's all about supporting women in music. WTF Thursdays at Bear's Smokehouse Barbecue, downtown Asheville.
I lived on a commercial salmon fishing boat in Alaska, and I genuinely think that was the first time I've ever felt myself kind of like slipping mentally. I think Alaska does weird things to people.
If you're interested in hearing anonymous callers like this tell stories from their lives, check out my podcast, Therapy Gecko. You can listen to Therapy Gecko on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Follow Therapy Gecko and start listening on the free iHeartRadio app today.
This is J.W. Whitley, General Manager at Parks Ford of Hendersonville. I would like to introduce you to some of our very own Parks Community heroes. Like Trent and Doug, whose first instinct was to fill their trucks with supplies and drive to the areas that were hardest hit in those first hours. Like Spencer, who helped build a bridge out of debris to rescue 7 families after the road was washed away. Nominate your Parks Community Hero today at parkscommunityheroes.com. That's parkscommunityheroes.com. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
Did you know Ingalls only sells USDA Choice and Prime cuts of meat? Maybe it's time to reward yourself. Our butchers cut all our meat fresh in the store every day. Grass-fed, organic, you name it. Not only that, we'll even cut it to order just the way you like it. And we grind meat fresh in the store multiple times a day. It's all in the bag. That's the best meat in town for the best folks in town. Ingalls, low prices, love the savings.
I'm Coley Duffy.
I'm Cody Ward.
And
we're the Chainsaw Brothers.
Actually, we're cousins. A few days after Helene, we was in the driveway having a couple beers, waiting on the power to come back on. And we heard so many people calling, needing trees removed, and couldn't afford it.
So I called my dad to borrow a chainsaw, and over the next few months, we cleared trees for our neighbors. Our business was born out of wanting to help Western North Carolina get back on our feet.
We are fully insured and licensed. We keep our promises, meaning if we say we're going to be there, we'll be there. In these parts, we live how we were raised.
When you call the Chainsaw Brothers, you're not a customer, you're family. We're good at what we do, and we do it for a reasonable cost.
For all your chainsaw needs, call the Chainsaw Brothers. 828-316-1013. Or find us on Facebook. See how we treat our family.
Are you still covered up with storm damage and debris?
Call us about our daily rates at 828-316-1013. That's 828-316-1013. We're the Chainsaw Brothers, and with our neighbors, we are Western North Carolina strong.
Buying or selling a home doesn't have to be stressful. Let me, Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, your local real estate expert, guide you every step of the way. Whether you're searching for your dream home, looking to sell quickly, or exploring investment opportunities, I've got the experience and the tools to get you the best deal possible. Call me, Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty at 828-774-6343. Let's make your real estate dreams a reality. I'm your trusted realtor. I'm making moves and making dreams come true.
Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news?
Oh, wait. Sorry. I was distracted there for a second. Anyhow, welcome back into the Sportsocracy. We do have breaking news.
You were distracted with your ridiculous dance that I had to unfortunately watch way too much of.
I love my dance. I like my dance. I like to bust a move every now and then.
Looked like you were going to bust a hip. Grandpa Simpson.
Breaking news out of the college football world, Jeremy. They got it right. They went, oh wait, the Lions backed off on that whole playoff reseeding thing. We're not doing that. College football playoff movers and shakers apparently had a phone call today where they have decided we're going to do away with this whole conference champions get a bye thing. We're going to straight seeding, straight ranking seeding, 1 through 12. Now I'm all about it. It's the way it needs to be.
You're going to get no disagreement from me. Who broke this? I can't find it.
This Ross Dellinger, is that
Ross
his name?
Dellinger.
Yeah. Yep. Yahoo Sports Ross Dellinger. CFP executives unanimously adopted the straight seeding model for the 12-team playoff. It's the way it should be in every sport. None of this, you won the division, so you get a bye.
Awesome. You beat a bunch of bad teams. You should. I'm not a fan.
I got it right. Good for
for sure. That
Good
means
for college football.
I wonder what that means for Notre Dame. So can Notre Dame get a bye? Because that was written into it that they could not.
Yes. If they are one of the top 4 teams in the country, you get the bye. That's the way it should be. It is prediction week here in the Sportsocracy. Jeremy feels like there is a massive letdown coming for the Denver Broncos this year. Is that a record-wise?
No.
Or is this like the faith you have in the team going forward?
I feel like a lot of people are looking at Denver right now, going, headed in the right direction. Got it figured out. Just gonna cruise right back to the playoffs on the back of that defense. Okay. The defense is fine.
Mm-hmm.
I have no problem with your defense. You know what I do have a problem with? Your offense. I feel like Sean Payton has built a wish version of the New Orleans Saints in Denver.
Mm-hmm.
You start with the Titans, then you go the Colts. Okay. Awesome. You have a New York back-to-back that does include a trip to, I believe that one's Ireland.
Yes.
And you get one with the Cowboys. Other than that, you play nothing but good teams, bruh. You get the Chargers, the Bengals, the Eagles, the Texans, the Raiders, the Chiefs, the Commanders, the Raiders again, the Packers, the Jaguars. Oh, there you go. There's another one. The Chiefs and the Chargers. I think every team I just said is as good as you or better.
Mm-hmm.
You want me to shut up about Bo Nix? Okay. You're going to have the opportunity. He's going to have to beat some Jalen Hurts, some Joe Burrows, some Justin Herberts, some C.J. Strouds, some Geno Smiths, some Pat Mahomes, some Jaden Daniels. And I'll go ahead and tell you, I don't think he's going to. I don't think he's going to. I believe you'll get those two to start. I believe you'll get the two with the New York teams. Although that date with the Jets would scare me a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think you'll get the one with the Cowboys. I think you'll split with the Raiders. You take the Jaguars. And then you'll get one of those other little randoms, like the Packers or pretty much the Packers. There were no other randoms there because every other team on that schedule is way better than you. I feel like, and I hate to use somebody else's line, but Notorious B.I.G. said this, and now I'm just adopting it into my lexicon. I feel like Bo Nix catfished you by beating nothing but the absolute dregs of the NFL, and now you've fallen for it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you realize that last year Denver had, 10 wins? 9 wins? 10 wins. 4 of them were against the AFC or NFC South.
Mm-hmm. In
Another
brutal
one,
fashion.
Yeah.
Like they beat the bejesus out of all of us, didn't they?
The closest game was against Carolina. It's 28-14. I just go back to what happened when you played really good teams. Didn't tend to go well. Bo Nix didn't tend to look like that guy. And I have a funny feeling it's going to happen again.
Yes.
But he was 6th in the NFL in touchdowns. I've already explained to you why quoting me with accumulator stats with quarterbacks is incredibly stupid. And if you weren't here for the first time I did it, I just need you to understand that Bo Nix finished 130 yards behind Aaron Rodgers last year. He had one more touchdown pass than Aaron Rodgers. So keep giving me those accumulator stats, and I'm going to keep telling you I do not care.
Does it translate to winning football? And it does if the schedule's favorable.
And it's fine. It's good enough
for
you to go 9-8.
Right. If your expectation is higher than that, then this is where I would suggest look introspectively. Because I don't see how you can look at this team and think that these guys are awesome and they're going to be world beaters. No, I think this is a solid team. I think they'll be tough for pretty much everybody to face, except for the few elite teams. You're not going to want to play them.
So the Seattle Seahawks.
I don't think they have many holes. It's just you're okay. You're competitive at every position.
They're the Seattle Seahawks. They're the Geno Smith-led Seattle Seahawks. I love smart fans. I love them. It's my they're my favorite people to converse with. They're my favorite people to see in our YouTube chat. And Denver Donkeys never fails. And there's a lot of you, it's just for this particular argument. He threw 3 in a row out here, and every single one of them was right, so I'm going to read all 3 of them.
Okay.
Last year's record seemed inflated. Broncos had lucky timing for a lot of their wins. They better be able to run the ball this year, or it's going to be tough. Nix might have a sophomore slump this year. He only had really good games against injured teams. I want to see him perform well against a high-ranked defense with all of their starters. I dare any person to refute a word he just said.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, that's a Bronco fan. Just throwing it out there. He's exactly right. That's exactly right. Am I telling you he can't do it? I didn't think he could do it coming into the league. This is where the disconnect with Bo Nix comes from me with other people. I am not impressed by you beating the Little Sisters of the Poor in the NFL. I'm not. It will never impress me because it doesn't mean anything. You can get all of these stat accumulator little accolades of, well, I finished 6th in passing touchdowns. Awesome. You know who you threw more touchdowns than? Jaden Daniels. If you think Bo Nix is better than Jaden Daniels, I don't need to talk to you for even 3 more tenths of a second because you are out of your damn mind. It just doesn't mean anything. What does mean something is when you're put up against elite talent. How do you look when you play against that? And here's how he looked last year. Do you remember the Ravens game? This is the one where I went, I don't need to see anything else. Because there's having bad days and there's being completely outclassed. Baltimore beat them 41-10. Bo Nix was 19 of 33, 233 yards and a pick. And that doesn't even begin to tell the story. And against your vaunted defense, Lamar Jackson, who actually is a MVP caliber franchise quarterback, was 16 of 19 for 280 yards and 3 touchdowns. I can do that with every single good quarterback you played. All of them. Had 138 yards against Seattle, had 216 against the Chargers, had 215 against the Chiefs, had 219 against Cincinnati. In a make-or-break, do-or-die, absolutely need this to save your life game. You got lucky in Week 18 that Kansas City rolled over and died. Until you do it, as somebody that didn't think you could do it coming into the league, you're not going to change my mind beating the Jets. You're not going to change my mind beating the Raiders. And this is the number one thing that changed my mind on win-loss record is a quarterback stat. I still think it's pertinent. It's not pertinent this early in your career. You know when it's pertinent? When you've been in this league 10 years. And I went back and I started looking at all the guys that I've used that as a reference for. Every single one of them is over that 10-year mark. By the time you've been in the league this long, then yeah, win-loss record, it does kind of tell a story about you. Because over the course of your career, very few elite quarterbacks have mediocre records. Most of them find a way to be 20, 30, 40 games over 500.
Mm-hmm.
Most mediocre quarterbacks, you can do it for a few years. Brock Purdy's done it. Come see me in 7 years when he's made $280 million. Come see me then.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I'm at with Bo Nix too.
Yep.
Right now, he's a cheap option on a team with a good defense. That good defense will suffocate bad offenses. What happens when you go up against a defense that can stop you and an offense that can score on you? Because so far, you're 0-5.
And you're going to win enough games this year to keep yourself in the hunt. That's the thing. If Bo Nix can take a step forward and play big in a couple of those spots, then they could be a playoff team.
Do you think he does take a step forward?
Not really.
Neither do I.
I mean, I feel like last year is probably who he is. Right? He came into this league already kind of seasoned. He's 26 years old, something like that.
He's
got a lot of experience under his belt, is all I'm saying. So we said time and time again, I don't think the ceiling's very high here. But this could be who he is for the duration of the rookie contract, and then you better hope you don't pay him.
It seems like every time this comes up, I find another quarterback that's a better example of this.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't remember who I said this about last time. But I know it wasn't the name I'm going to say. Bo Nix was born February 25th, 2000. He's 25 years old.
Yep.
Tyler Shuck is older than him. But not by much.
Mm-mm.
The name I was getting ready to say, Justin Fields has been in the NFL for 5 years. This is his 5th year.
Mm-hmm.
He's less than 1 calendar year younger or older than Bo Nix. I don't see steps forward because you were already 24 years old when you got here.
Mm-hmm.
You got what you got. This is not 21-year-old kid takes that step forward. It is what it is. Can he acclimate, get better in the system, get better in decision-making, things like that? Maybe. But he kind of is what he is.
Oh, and I think he can. And I think he probably will. With, Sean Payton as the teacher, I would think that you can definitely get smarter, get more, mentally acute, things like that. Read plays better, read defenses better. All of those things. Are you tapped out athletically speaking? Is the arm going to get better? Right? Can the accuracy get better? That's the thing he was heralded the most for, wasn't it?
He
was an accurate quarterback.
He was, and last year he was great throwing to wide open receivers. He did airmail a few that made my head hurt.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He's still going to have his moments, but all in all, Denver, just be glad that you're a playoff contender. We'll see where it goes from there. You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. 2 teams left in the AFC West as we close out prediction week when we come back.
ESPN Asheville.
Clear.
Your
Thank
mountain
you.
weather forecast.
Breezy to windy and cooler for us here this afternoon. Mostly sunny skies, gusty northwest winds at times to 30 to 35 miles per hour or more. Temperatures here this afternoon reaching highs in the low part of the 70s, almost 10 degrees cooler than we were yesterday. Down around 50 tonight, sunny, breezy, cool near 70 tomorrow. Sunny and low 70s Saturday, and then a chance for showers, even storms late Sunday into and through Memorial Day. I'm meteorologist Ken Boone at the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by the North Carolina Department of Public Safety.
Securely storing your gun can prevent a tragedy in your home. Every day in the U.S., 8 children are unintentionally shot, many with an improperly stored gun. Lock it up when it's not in use. Keep your family safe. To learn more, visit ncsafe.org. That's ncsafe.org.
When you think of hot, you might think about the tragic time you ate too much wasabi. Or about getting into your car on a summer day when it feels more like stepping into a sauna. But heat can work in your favor, like during Verizon Red Hot Deal Days. Get hundreds of hot deals on all your favorites, like iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence, Apple Watch Series 10, and iPad, on any plan. Only until May 28th for new and existing customers. Offer available on My Plan. Only at Verizon.
Everyone has a fave Wendy's Frosty flavor. And when you're choosing from chocolate or vanilla, it's not that hard. But now, there's all new Frosty Swirls and Frosty Fusions. So try picking your fave from Oreo Brownie Fusion, Pop-Tarts Strawberry Fusion, Strawberry Swirl, Brownie Batter Swirl, Caramel Swirl, and Caramel Crunch Fusion. Not so easy now, huh? For a fresh way to Frosty, gotta be Wendy's.
At participating U.S. Wendy's. Oreo is a trademark of Mondelez International Group. Pop-Tarts is a trademark of Kellogg North America Co., LLC. Used with permission.
Grab your shades, your flip-flops, and your free iHeartRadio app for the start of summer 2025. No matter where you go this summer, your favorite radio station, the music you love, and the best podcasts in the world will be along for the adventure. Make sure you have the free iHeartRadio app in your phone today.
Welcome to the Ingalls Table, a delicious destination with recipes galore. Need to whip up a dessert, entree, side dish?
So how many years in a row does Duke have to beat Carolina's brains out before we go, the rivalry's not quite what it used to be?
Find the Ingalls Table at...
What do you mean?
Duke just added the #1 international prospect in the country for next year, too. Kid that played like big-time minutes for Barcelona.
Bear Smokehouse Barbecue in Asheville has
the kid that went to the Nike Hoop Summit and absolutely kicked AJ Adesanya down the road.
Oh, yeah. And they've got the balls. Bear's famous bear balls are
You probably got to wait a couple more years, but it's getting there.
deep fried and then topped with bacon and cheese sauce. This is the place to be. Live music on Saturdays and the first Sunday of every month. They partner with the Guitar Bar to host Mr. Jimmy's Barbecue Blues. Bear Smokehouse Barbecue in downtown Asheville and South Asheville.
This is J.W. Whitley, General Manager at Parks Ford of Hendersonville, introducing you to this month's Parks Community Heroes, Corey and Kristen Short and the entire team at Silverados, who converted their music venue in Black Mountain into a donation and distribution zone in the wake of Hurricane Helene. Corey and his team founded Valley Strong Disaster Relief, dedicated to providing essential support to our neighbors in need. Nominate your Parks Community Hero at parkscommunityheroes.com. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
The Sportsocracy.
That is some good, clean family fun there, eh, Cot?
We are back in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. Just another reminder for you to go check out the new Facebook page for ESPN Asheville. Your chance to win things like Braves tickets, Carolina Panthers memorabilia. Might have also some, beverages that we could possibly be giving away soon on the Facebook page. I don't know. We got a lot of things in the works. Going to be a lot of chances to win coming up with ESPN Asheville. So go check out the new Facebook page. David and Tim both picked up Braves tickets for this weekend to go see the Padres. Next week, we'll have another Facebook online contest giving away Red Sox tickets for the June 1st game. Your chance to meet the Tank Spencer in person. I'll be there at the game as well. I don't know if our paths will cross, but we can make that happen if you win tickets to go to the game. We can most definitely make that happen. So follow us on the Facebook, ESPN Asheville. Not the new ESPN Asheville. That one does still exist, but I can't delete it. I don't know how to do that.
Do you have access to it?
No, I don't.
Oh.
That's why the new one exists.
Oh, yeah. If somebody has access to it, I can show you how to delete it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure I could probably figure out how to delete it if I could get into it, but I cannot. And I can't. I don't know how to make it go away other than that. I called Zuck. He owes me a favor, I'm sure. Somewhere down the line.
We'll just publicly shame it. Let's just shame.
That's right. All right, let's get back into it here. Closing out prediction week in the Sportsocracy, AFC West. So we got the Raiders and the Denver Broncos at the bottom. Flostradamus's official predictions had both those teams at 9-8, and technically you had Las Vegas winning the tiebreaker, correct?
Yes.
Just making sure I remember that correctly. All right, top two teams in the division. Next up, second place team is the Los Angeles Chargers.
Mm-hmm. What'd you have their record at?
12-5.
I have them 13-4.
Do you really?
I have the Kansas City Chiefs at 13-4 as well.
Oh.
And I'm going to be the first one to say this because I hadn't heard this yet.
Uh-huh.
Not only will I not be surprised if the Chargers win this division, I low-key think they're the favorite.
Wow.
Kansas City's schedule is awful.
Mm-hmm.
The Chargers isn't great, but it's a lot more beneficial, especially if you omit everything that starts with December. I mean, you got to say, so they play the Chiefs week 1. If they just so happen to win that game, do you realize that there's not another game on that schedule that I even think they could lose outside of Washington until December? They go Raiders, Broncos, Giants, Commanders, which is in L.A., by the way, at the Dolphins, Colts, Vikings, at the Titans, Steelers, at the Jaguars, Raiders. They're going to win every game I just said.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, and we'll do Kansas City and the Chargers side by side here because I fully want to do the comparison. The Chiefs, on the other hand, start with the Chargers. They then get Philadelphia in Kansas City. They get 2 layups at the Giants and at Jacksonville. We'll call layups for Detroit, Denver, and Dallas, Indianapolis. Other than that, you got Baltimore, Detroit, Washington, at Buffalo, at Denver, at Dallas, if you like Dallas way better than I do.
Mm-hmm.
Houston, the Chargers, another one with Denver. The Chargers' schedule is significantly easier, and I don't think Kansas City is significantly better than them.
Okay.
Do you disagree with anything I just said?
No. I don't really disagree with anything you said.
What's different this year from last year?
For
Kansas City. What's different this year from last year?
I don't know. Travis Kelce's a year older.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hopefully you'll have all your weapons together. That was a big part of it last year for me was, or I guess one of the things I didn't realize until we got to the end of the year was that none of the weapons that they had played together.
Nope.
Throughout the season, and they still went 15-0, 15-1,
15-1.
I'm not counting that last game. That was stupid.
Well, I mean, they did lose it. So
I mean, they did. But I mean, in all the games that they tried in, they won last year, except for the Super Bowl.
I just look at I look at a Kansas City team that I had questions about last year. Now, no matter how you look at this, their offensive line is significantly worse than it was last year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is the message not out that we saw from Philadelphia, that we saw from Tampa Bay years ago in the Super Bowl? If you can get to Pat and not just absolutely get killed in the back half, you can beat this team.
Yes.
You know who that, if you play that forward, you know who can do that? The Chargers.
Who's that?
That Chargers roster can get to you. I think they're going to rush passers particularly well. I don't think the drop-off from Bosa – people will say there's a big drop-off from Joey Bosa to Tuli Tuipulotu.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there is. I think at this point, Tuipulotu's better than Bosa is because Bosa's hurt all the time.
Okay.
Then you add in Bud Dupree and Kyle Kennard. I've got 4 guys that can consistently get after quarterbacks. I like that front. It's the most no-name front you'll ever see, but it's 3 guys that play those positions particularly well.
Mm-hmm.
I love the linebacking core with Deion Henley and Junior Colson. And then you look at all of the guys that they added in the secondary with Cam Hart and Taheeb Still last year in the draft. You added Dante Jackson, who's now – he's the guy that keeps up with the really fast players on the outside. You still got Tony – you added Tony Jefferson. You still got Derwin James. You still got Alohi Gilman. I like this team a lot.
Mm-hmm.
A lot. And something I haven't heard a soul mention yet. Last year they had a problem at guard because Zion Johnson wasn't particularly good. You know he's playing center now, right?
I had heard that.
Zion Johnson's the center of the Chargers with Mekhi Becton and Bradley Bozeman on each side of him. That should be really good for a team that wants to run the ball. Mm-hmm. And now they've got Najee Harris and Amarian Hampton.
Right. You throw in Justin Herbert, who hasn't even been mentioned yet. And Ladd McConkey in his second year. And then the weapons kind of drop off after that for me.
I still like Quentin Johnston.
There's potential, but there's risk everywhere. I mean, Trey Harris, we believe, is going to be really good.
I love Trey Harris.
But he's a rookie. Of course, you said the same thing, or I probably did say the same thing about Ladd McConkey last year. Don't listen to what Jeremy said about Ladd McConkey last year because it wasn't nice. None of it.
That's not true. That's not true. I said he was a slot guy. I said he's never going to be the best receiver on a Super Bowl team.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, I still stand by that.
Okay.
He is a superior fantasy football player.
Mm-hmm.
And he will get open out of the slot, and that is awesome. You need somebody to win on the outside. That's actually one of my biggest drawbacks of the Chargers. Is that I still don't see who's going to press it down the field consistently. I need one of those outside weapons to jump up and go, I'm the guy. Whether it's Mike Williams, whether it's Trey Harris, whether it's Quentin Johnston, whether it's Keandre Lambert-Smith. I don't really care. I just need somebody to be consistent on the outside. Josh Palmer couldn't do it. Quentin Johnston hasn't done it up until this point. Mike Williams did before he left, but he did bounce in and out of the lineup pretty consistently.
And the Los Angeles Chargers, I mean, they're a Harbaugh team. They are going to show up, and they are going to – they're not going to be the flashiest thing you've ever seen. It's just not going to happen. When I look at this team,
you in the mouth
exactly
over and over and over again.
I see a team that is going to bleed you dry. They are going to run the ball down your throat. They are probably don't press it down the field much, but the intermediate game is going to knock your lights out. And they will. I don't want to call it dink and dunk, but it'll be a little better version than dink and dunk all the way down. They will extend drives. They will control the ball, and they're going to win a boatload of games. I didn't quite get to the 13-4 that you did, but it got really hard to find losses.
There's not many there. There's just not many there.
No.
Especially when you look at Harbaugh. All right, let's say you have them losing to Kansas City. You got them losing to Washington. You still understand that means that team's 9-2 going into the bye. If they lose to Philadelphia, at Kansas City again, and to Houston, I'm still at 12-5. And really the only other debatable games would be the two with Denver. Lose one of those, you're still 11-6.
Yep.
And I don't see a whole lot of objectionable games outside of that. Because you get teams that can't stop the run, they're going to hurt your feelings. Because they got two guys that can run right up the middle behind a line that I think is going to be particularly good. By the way, if you don't like Zion Johnson, they signed Andre James too to back him up at center.
Your drawbacks for the Kansas City Chiefs, how this becomes the season that they falter and don't win the division.
If we get another year out of Pat that was like it was last year, and I'm talking about just him, not why it happened, just Pat was not as sharp last year as he's been in the past. He threw a lot of interceptions. He took a good number of sacks. And now the offensive line is not as good as it was. I don't worry about your running game in the least. I don't think you did anything to address that. And Isaiah Pacheco and Kareem Hunt just doesn't really do much for me. It's fine. I'm not upset about it. It's just it's not special. And then you look at the defense. The defense is fine. I love Chris Jones. I love Trent McDuffie. I like pretty much everything else. Nick Bolton and Leo Chenal, cool. Good. I'm seeing the atrophy year over year over year. And I remember when New England did this. People forget this about the New England Patriots. They had a handful of years there where they weren't the big scary bear. You know, the Colts had stepped up. There were other teams in the conference that could contend with them. And it wasn't that New England wasn't competitive. It's not that New England wasn't good. They just weren't the prohibitive favorite anymore. And I think that's where we're at with Kansas City. Your quarterback and your coach are only going to take you so far. And I don't see a position on this team where they're better than they were last year.
Say that again. You broke up on us.
Sorry. I don't see a position on this team that Kansas City's better right now than they were a year ago. I know they got to a Super Bowl. I didn't find it particularly impressive. I thought a lot of it was pulling rabbits out of hats. Buffalo outplayed them for 59 minutes. and then you beat them over the top late. And eventually you stop finding rabbits to pull out of hats.
Yep.
And that's where I'm at with Kansas City. I do think right now, if we played this season out 100 times, I think the Chargers probably win this division, 50 of them.
Wow. Okay.
If that's how, I'm very high on the Chargers. They're one of my favorite teams in the NFL this year.
Yep. Once again, predicting the step back from the Kansas City Chiefs. Starting to become one of those, if you keep saying it, it's going to happen at some point. We didn't see it last year, and I think we both predicted it last year.
Well, you saw a regression in Kansas City. You didn't see a regression in wins.
They weren't the dominant force that they were, but they kept winning. They kept winning games, and that was the frustrating thing about it. You know, we said that all going up to the Super Bowl run. It was obvious that team last year was not as good as other teams that they had that had made that run. They just won a lot of games.
Mm-hmm.
They won
and they'll win a lot of games this year too.
Yeah, because when it comes down to it, and you get into crunch time, and you've got the people making the calls that they have making the calls, and they have that quarterback, you can't really count them out. They're going to win a whole bunch of them again. I got them winning the division by a couple of games. But it may be closer than that. You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. I hope everybody has a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. We will not be with you tomorrow. We will return on Tuesday after the holiday. Encourage everyone to take a moment this weekend, and especially on Monday, to honor those who gave the ultimate sacrifice for our country. And because of their sacrifice, we can do stupid stuff on the radio every day. Just keep that in mind. A reason for the season, if you will. Jeremy, be careful. Don't get sunburned or kill any squirrels on the golf course.
I will do my best. We're playing at the membership course, so I know this one pretty well. I should come back in a formidably good mood with probably a perfect hat tan right here. Be able to see through the mullet.
All right, everybody have a great weekend. Be safe, and we will see you back here on Tuesday here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400.
ESPN Asheville.
And we're clear.
Thank you.
Your mountain weather forecast.
Breezy to windy and cooler for us here this afternoon. Mostly sunny skies, gusty
Memorial Day
winds
weekend.
at time.
You as well.
5 miles per hour.
And I will
temperatures
talk
here
to
this
you on
afternoon,
Tuesday.
reaching high.
Indeed.
Almost 10 degrees cooler than we were yesterday. Down around 50 tonight. Sunny, breezy, cool, near 70 tomorrow. Sunny and low 70s Saturday. And then a chance for showers, even storms late Sunday into and through Memorial Day. I'm meteorologist Ken Boone at the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. Memorial Day doorbuster deals are here at Lowe's. Right now, rewards members save $80 on a Master Forge 4-burner gas grill. Now just $149. Lowe's. We help, you save. Valid through 5/26. Program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms, subject to change.
Bonus bucks. Bonus bucks. Once you win $1,000 in bonus bucks, you'll have more money to use on your fantasy leagues. Bonus bucks. The winning happens every weekday, right here
on ESPN Asheville.
Looking for a career with stability and purpose? NC Department of Adult Correction is hiring correctional officers statewide with a $10,000 sign-on bonus, paid vacation, and benefits. Learn more. Visit dac.nc.gov/cojobs.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
ESPN Asheville, broadcasting from the Ingalls studio at Radio Ranch. Log on to espnavl.com and make us your #1 preset on the iHeartRadio app. ESPN Asheville, #1 for sports coverage in the mountains.
People just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check the GPS directions first, before driving to the mall.
Turn right at the light. In 1,000 miles, you will reach Montreal.
Not Montreal, the mall.
Recalculating. 6,000 miles to Nepal.
No, the mall.
Checking first is smart.
Recalculating.
So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Dan Scott here, inviting you to check out my new show every Sunday, 8 to 9 a.m. here on ESPN Asheville, where we bring sports and faith together. The Dan Scott Show, 8 a.m. Sundays on ESPN Asheville.
For more information about contests on this station, go to espnavl.com.
Sometimes it don't always work for an injury, but it practice makes it perfect.
Buying or selling a home doesn't have to be stressful. Let me, Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, your local real estate expert, guide you every step of the way. Whether you're searching for your dream home, looking to sell quickly, or exploring investment opportunities, I've got the experience and the tools to get you the best deal possible. Call me, Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty at 828-774-6343. Let's make your real estate dreams a reality. I'm your trusted realtor. I'm making moves and making dreams come true.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Do better, be better every day. That's the Parks Promise. Our mission, to improve lives with every interaction. This is JW, General Manager at Parks Ford Hendersonville. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com. That's parksfordhendersonville.com.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.